Welcome back to And Just Like Yap, everybody. I am Andy.
I'm Caroline.
Today, we have for you a very special episode. We are recapping all of Season 3 of America's Sweethearts, the Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders, Season 3 of the acclaimed Netflix show. We're going to go through the whole series today. There's a lot to talk about. Caroline, how are you feeling?
I love these women so much. I mean, especially, I'll say someone growing up in the South, Texas is its own thing.
Yeah.
I think, like, coming from the South, we'll say that, like, you're from the Southeast, but Texas is kind of its own country. But Kelli and Judy, I know these women. These were my high school teachers that terrified me, specifically my AP US history teacher. I still can think of looks she gave me that if I, like, close my eyes and I would still chill me to my core. Like, these are women that will really scare the living daylights out of you to scare you straight and away, even though you are a people-pleasing person.
Yep.
They will make you realize you still need to do more and better. Tonally, there was just some weird stuff in season 2 that happened with Shandy that I think sort of overtook a lot of the season for the team in general. So I think it was nice to see them rebound this season a bit, but also it was interesting to see social media and Reddit sort of in Netflix become like the fifth character.
Yes.
This season, in a way that I think is going to be interesting to see how it will continue to impact the show as we go forward.
Yes, because there was like 16 seasons of the show on CMT, but only a very specific demographic of people were watching that because it was on CMT. So they're on a national stage in a way that they really haven't been. But let's get into it. We are starting with episode 1, Yes, No, Maybe, part 1, which starts with Reece.
My girl!
Yeah. Reece in the middle of her solo performance because DCC is doing a live tour around, looked like, various cities in Texas.
I will say it's interesting going from like that initial shot of Reece and foreshadowing where the season ends.
Yeah.
Is fascinating, sort of how they laid all of this out, because it sort of already sets the tone of Reece's intentions of wanting to be on the DCC and how she uses dance, that now the attention that has come with it from the Netflix angle of all of it has overshadowed so much of her passion for it. And it's such an interesting layer to her because she is the America's sweetheart, as they like come back to over and over again.
Yes,
talk about
we will come back to this over and over again. She is probably the most popular cheerleader in the DCC, the most well-known, which makes sense because we live in a very Christian-leaning country. And she is very much that she dances for, as she has previously said, an audience of one with a capital O. Her creator. Honor her creator with her gift. We'll talk more about this, but it's interesting to see how that gets very, very complicated when the Lord seems to be putting a lot of stress on her and her gift. I'll just say this up front. I am not a religious person. I try not to have judgment for Reece in this category, but it is hard for me.
Yeah, and I will say, having sort of grown up in a lot of this environment, I know a lot of these people. This was, a lot of my middle school, high school. I was very involved, like, in the Christian church. I was in my youth group. I was going to Christian summer camp. That's not where I sort of really fall now, but it is interesting to see just how it continues to weave into people's lives and throughout this entire series and organization, because I think it drives a way of purpose for these people in a way that it allows them like a structure to give purpose to this without having to question other aspects of the world, for better or for worse. So it's just a weird trip to like be thrown back into this sort of mentality.
Yes. And my viewpoint on it a lot of the time, especially as it relates to sports and just anybody who's accomplishing anything in a major way, I take a lot of issue with people thanking God exclusively for their accomplishments, because I'm like, bitch, you worked so hard. Like,
I know.
anyway, I digress, but yeah.
We've talked about one of our favorite speeches from when we covered All's Fair, Niecy Nash's "I Want to Thank Me."
Yeah,
that was like her Emmy speech when she won, and because it's like, yeah, you're the one who showed up every day to rehearse hours and hours and hours on end. This is a very patriarchal organization within a very patriarchal sport and a patriarchal faith. I think if you're choosing to put yourself first in the work that you've done, that's going to look bad to everyone else. So it's like, that's why God is first, because you are innately going to be humble.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really, really good point. But yeah, they're on this tour, which is a new thing that they did this year because the cheerleaders have blown up. I'm glad that they have a vehicle for these girls who are incredible dancers to be doing like some of their solo material and like other stuff that isn't just specifically DCC. One of the cheerleaders, I think this is Jada, makes the point that no Reece, no ticket sales. And she's joking, but it's not really a joke. I think one of the other stressful aspects that Reece deals with is, yes, she's super popular in the public eye, but also like sort of how that affects her backstage. Like this is really a sisterhood. It seems like the girls are all very supportive and like this is clearly just a joke. But, you know, speaking from my own personal experience of when I was a sophomore in high school and I got Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, it's a weird dynamic. It's a weird dynamic to be the most important person. I'm joking, but also it is.
Yeah. And it's also an important point to point out that this season is the first training season that's happened since the Netflix show has dropped. Because season 2 was still while they were doing the previous training camp.
Right.
So this is the first time we're sort of seeing the Netflix effect on the girls, which I think is an interesting point to point out during all of this as well. So
the other thing that's new is not just the live show. They are incorporating live auditions into this show, which is a wild element. I also hated that because look at this shot.
My girl! My girl! Ugh, I'm obsessed with her. I need to know everything about her. This is my daughter. I saw her. I was like, I know you. I love her.
This was one of the most harrowing images of the entire series, in my opinion. Like, this little girl dressed like a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, clearly, like, done up, even though, I don't know, how old is she? What, like 8? She has this look on her face that she's like, yeah, I'm really judging these cheerleaders. They really have to impress me, 8-year-old.
She could say one mean comment to me and I'm going to reframe my entire life. That girl, I'm terrified of her.
That was really harrowing. They literally had like a QR code on the screen while these women are dancing and people voting. I knew the decision was ultimately going to be Judy and Kelly's. And here's the thing. When you're in the performing arts, you're putting yourself up for scrutiny from the audience no matter what. That's sort of weaved into the whole kind of point of what you do. But this really, this felt really wrong and bad to me.
I think what's interesting, Kelly said before this too, she's always wanted to do a live show. There's a world where I can see a Vegas residency very easily that they could do in the off season.
Yeah.
Because they have the Christmas show that we see. Now they're doing this tour. A Vegas residency makes so much sense to me, like more than Broadway. I know she wants like a Rockettes type of thing, but I think this is a pocket that actually is underserved. I think when you think about the Vegas shows, because you have Magic Mike, you have the concert residencies, there's the magician stuff, but and there's like Cirque du Soleil, but there's not really like a Rockettes equivalent. And I think the DCC could really fill a niche need, I think. And also, especially knowing there's like March Madness and stuff like that. I just think it's like it could fill a pocket of things that come to Vegas that I really think the DCC should look into Vegas, I think.
Kelli and Judy, you got to get Caroline on the horn. She's going to work out a deal for you. So yeah, so they chose 10 from their live shows that ended up making it to the final auditions. So yeah, we now move on to, we are pre-final auditions, and so the vets are all rehearsing together beforehand at a dance studio, and we start to get the shape of like who are going to be our like lead players in this season, who we're really focusing on. Megan is a 5th-year veteran candidate, so she is one of the most seasoned people, and she is talking about last season, both with the DCC and with the Netflix show, where they were arguing for better pay, which absolutely had something to do with the fact that like the Netflix show was now on the air. The cheerleaders are wildly popular. It's very clear that the DCC is making an income from this Netflix show in multiple different ways. So the cheerleaders argued for getting their pay up from $15 an hour, which is, I mean, yeah, we have a huge wage issue in this country in general, but like for the level that they are performing at and what is expected of them, the fact that it was 15 an hour no matter what is bonkers.
Yeah, and I will say, and it went to 75 an hour is what they negotiated, and then they were getting $500 in an appearance outside of football, but now it's like couldn't find an updated number.
I think it's 2,500.
I will say it was interesting in season 2 because this was like one of the undercurring narratives throughout the season. It was weird because they couldn't outrightly openly talk to Kelli and Judy about it.
Right.
So it was like this sort of like vibe throughout the season, because Jada was one of our biggest of the team that was leading the charge for this, because she was an outgoing 5th-year veteran. And it was really tough to watch because obviously we have Charlotte Jones, who is sitting on hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, her father Jerry Jones, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and their position on this squad was on the line just for asking, to be able to have a better work-life balance when they're expected to have, hours and upon hours on game day, on top of training camp, which is unpaid, plus rehearsals, and the classes that they're having to do outside of that, then the appearance. So that tension is, because I know that it was risky for all of them to do that because they were risking their spots on the team to really go after it. So I'm glad that we got there, but also we can still see that 75 is wildly underpaid.
Yeah, and it also, I read that it's not necessarily 75 for everybody. Like your individual rate depends on whether it's a rehearsal or a performance, your seniority in DCC as a whole. So I'm glad that they were able to negotiate it up. But yeah, Charlotte Jones and her father, Jerry Jones, we'll talk more about this, are very rich and very evil. They make it a real point in season 1 of this show to clearly state that the DCC is its own separate organization from the Cowboys. And they make a big fuss about it. And like, isn't it wonderful that it's our own organization and it's all women led and it's all like people who were former DCC? And like, yes, that is true. But what also is true is that separating that means that you don't get the Cowboys money, which is a huge cash cow. It's a very purposeful choice to separate them. But yeah, no, I'm glad they were able, that's a very, very risky thing for them to do, as you said. So I'm glad that they were able to negotiate better pay, because I know it's technically a part-time job hours-wise, but the effort of it is more than a full-time job. Yeah, so their efforts were heard. They got the pay raise. Now we see Kelli and Judy are looking through the online submissions, and this is where we find out from Kelli, like, this is actually the first round of submissions coming in from people who have seen the Netflix show. I did not realize this. It makes sense. So, like, the show was released, the season 3 was released in June of this year. Auditions and training camp now. Auditions and training camp started around the same time that season 3 was released. So they are filming season 4 right now. So when you're watching a DCC season, that was from the year before, and then the current audition round is going on. This like totally influenced the applicant pool. They were saying that they had way more people coming from New York and LA, people coming from around the world. We'll talk about Faith because she's from New Zealand, Australia. Yeah, that changes the landscape quite a bit now that the show is on a much more national stage than it ever was. We start to meet some of our rookie candidates. We have Parker, love Parker. Brenly we don't see as much throughout the series, but we'll have some moments with Brenly.
Brenly also, she's one of, because they talk a lot about this, she's one of the college dance girls, because there's a lot of like college dance versus cruise line. There's a lot of like weird back and forth about this season. They're able to be vetted very easily for the DCC style. For sure.
Absolutely. We have Jenna, who is our comeback from last season. Jenna got cut at the very, very, very end of training camp, like the day they announced the squad. So Jenna's back this year, trying again. And we have Dayton. Oh, Dayton.
My stomach went into my butt the second like I saw her come on the screen, because it was so painful to watch in season 2. It's very center stage coded. And the way that her mom is, Shelly, is so involved as a former DCC, growing up with Kelli. I was just so, because it's just, we know where this is going to go. Everyone is upset by this entire situation because no one wants to tell her she's just doesn't have it. And I think that's what the struggle is, because there's not like a clear answer to like, she's got the technicality, she has like everything on paper, but she's just missing the it factor.
Yeah, so Dayton had auditioned several times previously, dating all the way back to 2018. So this is a while ago. Also, as you said, Shelley is a part of the organization. She is a former DCC. And the associate choreographer, which I found this interesting, after what happens with Dayton happens, we never see Shelley again, as far as I could tell. And I thought that was interesting. And I was like, did she decide she doesn't want to be filmed for the documentary because her daughter, it didn't work out for her? Not anywhere in the rest of the documentary once Dayton gets cut.
I think it's just like a Netflix narrative thing. It's like once Dayton's narrative is ended, there's not really a point to show, because we have so many other people we have to focus on.
This was also a thing way back in season 1 with Victoria. Victoria's mom had been a former DCC, was friends with Kelli. Yeah, and all these girls like grow up together. Here you can see like Kelly's daughter and Dayton with Kelly Clarkson at some sort of Cowboys event. It's really, really, really uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. And this made me feel a lot of things as somebody who grew up in the performing arts and, you know, you've had moments of doubting your talents. And yeah, you're right. There's really nothing tangible that you can say to Dayton because on the one hand, they're also trying to protect her feelings, protect their relationship with her mother. So they're not being direct with her because they don't want to hurt her. But the fact of the matter is she's just not as good as everyone else. She can't keep up with their routines. And as far as I could tell, like, who the fuck am I to judge dancing? But it kind of just seems like she didn't really go for it. And I think it's because her confidence has been repeatedly crushed over and over and over again.
Oh, yeah. They were getting ripped to shreds. Like, I remember when that was happening on Reddit, when season 1 happened with Victoria, who I'm like so glad she left. She's in New York. I think she's auditioning for the Rockettes again. So I think there's just like a lot more awareness of how they were handling it this season. And I'll say also too, growing up in the South, there is a lot of this sort of legacy thing. Cause I think about like cause my mom, I think was, Alpha Phi. Like there's a lot of sorority culture, a lot of legacy things around that.
Pageant culture.
So I think there is a lot of this, reverence for that. And then what does that mean for you as Shelley, of like what that was for you if they can't have the legacy continue for her daughter, and like did they actually care for you? And I think it just makes you question the whole structure of like what that actually held as a place of importance in your life.
Like I was just talking to my sister about this. She's 6 years older than me, and my sister is she was an incredible student. Being 6 years younger than her, I would literally get into a classroom. I specifically remember AP English in high school, and teachers would be like, oh, you're Maxine's sister, so you're going to be incredible. And it was like, I was fucked from the moment they said that because maybe I am just as smart, maybe I am just as hardworking, but now that you've said that, now that you've put that in my brain, now I'm gonna fuck it up because now I'm really nervous. So there's a lot going on there with Dayton, and you really feel for her. We are also introduced to Savannah, who is a new rookie who just graduated from Texas Christian University, and she mentions that the only reason she went there was because to be on the Showgirls dance team, and because TCU was close enough to DCC that she could drive up every single weekend to go to DCC prep classes because this has been her dream forever. What do we think about Savannah?
Okay, so I looked at the movie she's named after.
Savannah Smiles.
She mentions this movie, Savannah Smiles. She's from Utah. I was like, of course she's from Utah. She's blonde. She's got the Mormon curl that we know very well from watching The Mormon Wives and Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. But this movie's called Savannah Smiles. It was made in 1982. It has 217 reviews on Letterboxd. The young daughter of a politician runs away due to lack of attention. She hides in the car of two not too bright crooks who are slowly converted into parent figures. as the police web closes down on the supposed kidnappers. Some of the review, okay, the second review is very funny. 5 stars. This was the first movie I cried over. I was around 13 years old. I walked in on my mom, aunt, and grandma watching this via bootlegged YouTube video. I sat through the last half of it, and when it finished, I just walked into my room, locked the door behind me, and laid flat on my bed and freaking bawled my eyes out. The sheer wholesomeness of this movie is too much. I would not forgive myself for giving this anything less than 5 stars.
That seems like a very strange plot line of a movie to name your daughter after.
I know. And also the main actor in it was a child star that died when she was 21 of a heroin overdose.
Oh, no.
So we've got one of these every season.
Yes, yes.
It's like, I found out about the DCC when I was a child, and that has now become my life point. And it's just always interesting to me. Like, I always wonder about the other aspects of their life. I was like, doesn't look like she has friends. Doesn't look like she has a dating life. Like, this is your whole existence. I don't know. It's always interesting to sort of see how this stuff shakes out.
Yeah, I mean, I remember myself at 21, and you can be that single-minded with your goals until you just run out of steam. Somewhere around 30, your brain and your body is like, we cannot do this anymore. Which is why all these women have to be still in their 20s in order to do this, because you have those energy reserves.
I think about that because that's how I was with NYU. I wanted to go to NYU from freshman year of high school, and I did my time with every decision I made for every show I auditioned for, every club that I did, every AP class that I took was like, I want to be at Tisch. I want to be at NYU. And I didn't get in, and honestly, it was one of the best things that happened to me was that I didn't get into NYU, because some of these things, when you think you know what you're going to want for the rest of your life at 15, and you don't, like, your life is so only just beginning. Like, yeah. I hope for Savannah. I mean, we do see that she's currently in rookie camp right now, for this current season. But I do hope that this opened her eyes up a little bit, that there are just so many other opportunities that you can be taking for yourself.
Then we are meeting Faith. Faith comes from she's from New Zealand originally. When the show starts, is coming from living in Australia. She is completely bewildered by America, as I'm sure anybody who's not coming from America would be. She sees a self-driving car and is losing her mind about it.
Faith, the second I heard of how fast she talks, I was like, is this what people feel like when they talk to me? Like, just the speed that she speaks at, and she doesn't stop talking. I was like, oh no, am I seeing myself on screen?
I mean, yeah. You have similar speaking paces, but I also I've been told to slow down. I've been told to slow down my entire life in anything related to the performing arts. The biggest note I ever got was slow down. I've also been told to not eat as fast as I do my whole life. And you know what? I'm not slowing down for anybody. I'm going to eat as fast as I want and talk as fast as I want.
Amen. I went on a date recently where they told me, I don't get that you're from the South at all. If anything, I thought you were New Jersey, just from the way that you talk.
Wow. The Garden State. Okay.
I was like, okay, all right. Jersey girl. Never would have thought, but yeah.
You've put in the hours on Real Housewives in New Jersey. That's why.
I have, but it was, I feel like when I'm watching Faith a little bit, and I love it and I respect it, I do feel like I also need to take a breath when I'm watching her.
I know.
I know. It's a lot.
I know. She is a lot. Some background on Faith we get. She has double jointed hips, which makes her Flexi Faith, which makes her really, really flexible. She does some stuff with her leg that I am in pain watching it. And so she became Flexi Faith on social media, which garnered her a following. And actually, she was scouted to audition for DCC by one of the many blonde women who work for the organization, who saw her on Instagram and was like, we gotta have her audition.
I gotta say, being famous in Australia is probably the ideal famous that I would love to be. It's so niche. It does not translate to any other country that you're in. But then you go to Australia and you're royalty. Yeah, I would love that. Although the bugs in Australia freak me out.
They're very large.
They're like bugs that I don't even want to know that exist there. And also it's a lot of desert. But the level of like reality and like media fame, there is something that is intriguing to like G Flip. Like she's very famous there.
Yeah.
You know, all the reality TV people I know from like Love Island Australia. Yeah, I don't know. There's something there.
There's something there. I just also love, because Faith is not American, like she says, go the Cowboys. I love it. I love it. I love it from the standpoint of like somebody who is not a sports person. And people are so into their NFL team. So I love someone very cheerfully saying, go the Cowboys, and getting it totally wrong, because it's just a slap in the face to any Cowboys fan. And I don't know, I just love that.
Oh, it's great. I also, in this as well, there's this funny video that she gets from Kelly of her being accepted to camp.
Yes.
Or going to finals.
Yes.
That I was like, what is this weird pre-recorded video that they had Kelly do? Welcome to finals. You've made it. I was like, this is the most Hunger Games
I was
nonsense.
just about to say, like, it looks like something that they would broadcast to everybody in Panem on Hunger Games.
Yeah. It was so odd. I was like, what is this,
I
Kelly?
know.
Bring back the Kelly Finglass that I know and love. Like, not I want my unmedia trained Kelly Finglass back on my screen.
Kelly's too big for her Lucchese boots now. She really is.
I know.
So we're getting some context on Jenna from last year, that she was the last person cut. She later says that it's like literally the morning of team announcements, like via phone. So she really thought that she was safe, and she wasn't. And Jenna's story throughout the entire season 3 is sort of how this affected her mentally and emotionally. And like, kudos to her. She realized that she was post-cut in like the lowest low of her life, because it was her biggest disappointment yet. And she started seeing a sports psychologist. She talked about it in therapy. We'll talk a little bit about this later, but she was dealing with some body image stuff as well. So Jenna's storyline is that she's really spent the last year working on her mental health and seeing if this is something she still really wants. I will say, like, not that I'm like so wizened at 36, but I'm like, I don't know if 1 year of therapy when you're in your early 20s is enough to then sustain going through the same trauma all over again. So I was still worried. I was like, you might need some more time and space from that. But
yeah,
she seemed up to the task.
Unfortunately, it's the cycle, because like unfortunately you only have a short window to be a DCC cheerleader.
It's true.
So I'm glad because like, here's I think the difference between her and Dayton with this. They both use that time to take classes, but I think Dayton just like doubled down on the physical aspect of it instead of analyzing the mental aspect of here, which I think is where you get tripped up in a lot of this, because like all of these physically you are the best dancers of your life, but if you don't tap into this up here, you're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to withstand the feedback from Kelly, Judy, and then ultimately Charlotte.
Yeah,
like plus the internet, like God
oh
forbid,
my god,
like,
yeah,
I could not imagine Dayton withstanding the Reddit boards throughout an entire season, because I do feel like mentally she just seems more stable going into this, and she talks a bit more, like we said, like body image stuff too. I'm glad that she leaned more into the fact of becoming stronger instead of doubling down on, eating a string cheese. Not doubling down and making herself smaller, she allowed herself to go bigger.
Yes.
And I think ultimately that benefited her, not just as a DCC, but her as a person.
Yeah, shout out to her therapist and psychologist. They're clearly good at what they do. So we're ending this episode finding out that there are 81 candidates that are going to be trying out today. We have reached final audition day. They're going to do the solos in the morning, and then the stuff on the field, the group numbers in the afternoon. I understand the idea that you want to keep these girls from getting complacent because you have all this insane new talent coming in every year.
Yeah.
But the DCC commitment is basically 6 months. Then they've got this like other show going on in the off season. Then you have to like get a solo routine learned. And it has to be like the best solo routine ever, especially if you're on your 5th year, and then do it all over. Like that's a lot. Like this is your life for the entire however many years you choose to do this. Like that is, it's very harrowing to me.
It's med school, but for dance. It's fascinating to me. I mean, it's like, it's really, it's like they go to war, and I love these women. I love that they get up for battle every day, but it is interesting, and also the threat that they give them. Like, it's very entertaining the whole season. Like, these vets, like, they're not getting, they could get cut, which is, if you're keeping up with current chatter,
yes,
that one of them has been cut.
We'll get to that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. It is like, it's just a very interesting environment.
And I also will say, like, if you're the head of an academic program, head of, something that's supposed to be bringing people joy, maybe keep in mind your ability to completely crush somebody's spirit and like ruin their entire sense of self. I don't know. Maybe think about it.
Yeah. And also, God, they cheer for such a bad football team.
I know.
It makes me think of Bring It On, where that, like, they constantly, like, they have not been good since, I don't know, whenever the starter jackets happened. That was the 90s.
Yeah.
Like,
it's been a while.
That's the last thing they were. Yeah, so it's tough to also see, wow, these girls are so amazing. They put in so much work, and then they have to cheer for the most dog shit football team. So that's also, their time is cut short by, men who can't rise to the challenge.
Correct.
Isn't that a reflection of life?
It sure is. But yeah, so we are getting into the final auditions as this first episode comes to a close, and we are told by Kelli that the numbers of this, which are, we currently have 30 returning vets. The team is only 36. So there's really only 6 spots for new people if they take all the vets back. And she's saying you can't feel safe in this audition. Yeah. So we are on episode 2 now. Yes, no, maybe part 2. We're at final auditions where we left off, and Kelli is reiterating just how competitive it is. It is more competitive and has a lower acceptance rate than an Ivy League school application. That puts a feeling in my body that I reject.
It makes me think of the Common App, which is something I've not thought about since.
Oh my God. Oh, I don't want to think about that at all.
2006, 2007.
That's traumatic. I haven't heard those words together in a while. I
know.
Oh my God. Klein is doing her routine, and in very, very Klein fashion. It is campy. It is fun. She has some like intercuts of her mom's voice and like her talking to her mom through the dance. It's really, really interesting. And we're talking a little bit more about Klein. And in previous seasons, we've seen that Klein and Kelli butt heads a lot. And it is because, as Kelli says, Klein is her own force and she's not afraid to speak. And Kelli's whole thing, the way she tries to sort of couch it to not look like she's mean to Klein, is like, it's just her timing. She just has bad timing. She says things at the wrong time. And then I love this. Klein says, in all honesty, I think my timing is perfect. I love Klein. I love Klein because she is somebody whose spirit is not broken by a process and a group of people that are very good at breaking spirits.
Yeah, Klein is like a specific person that I was always in awe of. I think like grown-ups that like, they're so beautiful but able to just speak up in a way, and everyone just listened to them. Like, no matter, like, they would get yelled at, but at the end of the day, they charmed everyone.
Yes.
So, like, actually, it was like, okay, like, slap on the wrist, like, you're fine, but, like, don't do it again. A lot of these girls, they follow by the book because that's the way that this whole organization is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So her speaking up is,
well, this is using your pretty privilege and your talented privilege correctly, in my opinion, because not everybody can get away with this. You can only get away with this if you are this beautiful, this talented, and have been here for this long. And I appreciate the fact that she wants to use that for good, because she knows that. She knows that she has these things at her advantage, and so she's going to advocate for other people who maybe can't speak up, and I think that's wonderful, and I think Klein's going to do great things. Now we get into watching the auditions. By the way, Casey Musgraves is here. I was not expecting that.
They did her halftime show the season previous.
Okay.
So I think that was where the relationship began, really, with, and now, again, of course, it's, like, exploded, so Casey, of course, is a Texas girl, she could take a day off to come watch auditions.
Yeah, and Casey Musgrave's career trajectory went from, like, independent, smaller, lesser known country artist to, you know, now she has a clothing collaboration with Walmart. She's done the full arc of her fame. And I love Casey Musgraves. I think she's wonderful. And I think as far as like country artists go and people and public figures from Texas go, like she's got the right values and the right progressive take on things. So I love Casey Musgraves.
Also, it's like funny watching this. I always think with like Kelli, I'm like, you can tell Kelli is like moderate. You can tell, because I think also season 2, there was a shot where she's like trying on, she's like, oh, this looks like Kamala. This like pantsuit in like a good way. So I was like, so you get the little nuggets where you can see she walks the line, but she's not going to say it outrightly. So her even bringing Casey in is like, I don't know. It tells me a little bit more about Kelli than I think she'll outrightly say.
For sure. I'm just now noticing the name placard behind Kelli is Priscilla Crossland. Which is the craziest name. That is the most Texas name I have ever heard in my life. Priscilla Crossland.
She's gonna be at the bake sale at the Baptist Church. You'll see her on Sunday, and she will put the fear of God in you.
Yes, she will. I mean, speaking of people who put the fear of God in you, is Charlotte Jones, the most evil-looking woman who ever lived. This woman is pointy.
Yeah.
She's a point. Every part of her is pointy and sharp. Her cheekbones, her elbows. She's clearly had a number of things injected into her face. She looks like a Disney villain evil to me.
You can tell. Okay, knowing that this is the first season where the Netflix, we're seeing the after effects of that. I think there was a pointed conversation that we have to have less Charlotte on camera. Even the way that she says things and the amount that they let her talk, because they would let her go on in season 1 and 2, but it felt like there was a very pointed way of, we're not going to let Charlotte be on camera as much because it's not good for the brand, ultimately. She's going to still be the puppeteer behind the scenes, but we know that she is not a front-facing person that we need to be seeing for the DCC.
Yeah, because she looks like Cruella de Vil, and she talks talks like the meanest mom from your hometown. Like, she is... And this is a perfect example. Yeah. This moment...
I've watched it 500 times. I love it. I love it.
You texted me, you're like, there's a moment in the second episode that you're going to lose your mind. And I was like, is it this moment? And it was. Yeah, someone's in the middle of doing their routine. She's still performing. She's in the middle of doing her routine. And she turns to Kelli and is like, was this a video audition? She goes, was this a live? How did that happen?
How did that happen?
Yeah, let's both do
our lingering eye contact.
Yeah.
Lingering eye contact. I was like, I know once they stopped rolling and the mic packs were off, she gave her a nice little shake on the arm. I know that we did not see on camera, but I chills down my spine. That I've experienced this woman in church with me not doing communion correctly or something.
This is my friend's mom in the car on the way home from dance class who told me that because my bat mitzvah was scheduled at the same time as another girl's, nobody was going to come to my bat mitzvah. And I was 11 years old and she was in her 40s and she said this to me and she meant it. That is Charlotte Jones in a nutshell. That she is, I mean, there's a lot more I can say, but she's a villain. She's a huge villain, and you are correct. I can tell that they were like, you cannot have her on the screen as much. And she's one of the people in charge of like making sure the brand looks good. So like she probably knows as well. She's like, I'm a rancid bitch and I can't be on the screen.
No.
But yeah, someone's a young woman in her early 20s is in the middle of dancing her heart out, and Charlotte Jones is going, how did that happen?
I just can't imagine for those girls to now watch the show and then see this feedback. If I had to watch any footage of people watching the audition.
Oh my God.
Feedback. Don't do that. If that is what I have to see in my eyes before I die, like, please just take me out. Like, I don't need to see that. Those do not need to be the last things I see before I die.
No, you would never see or hear from me again. I would move somewhere where nobody can speak to me, nobody can see me, nobody can judge me. So we then get a bunch of other negative feedback that gets said about these women while we see a montage of all of them going across the floor. Plain and mousy.
The Charlotte Tilbury dance floor.
The Charlotte Tilbury branded dance floor. Plain and mousy, check minus on her kicks. But then we have one of our main characters enters the picture. Emily A, who we love. Emily A comes on, she wows all the judges with an absolutely incredible routine. She is a new rookie. And Kelli, of course, says her look is a makeover waiting to happen. We check in with Dayton, who is already losing all of her confidence. She is with Kelli's daughter because they are, as we mentioned before, friends. They grew up together.
Okay, I have to say I did an interesting dive on Kelli's daughter.
You did?
You don't really see... Yeah, on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. She's doing, like, MLM money Etsy spreadsheets.
What? What does that even mean?
On her Instagram. So, okay, there's this woman, Amanda Francis, on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the money queen, the money manifestation queen, and she sells courses. So I think she's selling, like, money courses that people buy and help them get rich.
That's a scam.
Yeah. Her husband's... he's a doctor. They just moved to Cincinnati recently, and she's now working, I think, with the Bengals and their cheer team.
Who, Samantha is?
Samantha, yeah.
Got it.
But she's also doing this Etsy money scam. So, which is, like, interesting that she doesn't want to be forward-facing on this show, but you are scamming people very openly and doing those, like, 9-to-5 vlogs on your Instagram. So I'm very confused by her in general.
Interesting. That's very interesting. Thank you for the boots on the ground research there. Yeah, Dayton's already, like, losing her confidence completely. Her mom is watching over her from the stress balcony.
Also, I gotta say, Samantha's dress looks like what we wore doing improv in 2014.
100.
I was like, why is a 23-year-old wearing this?
Yep.
This is horrifying.
You're either wearing that at your entry level job or at your level 1 performance at the Second City Training Center in 2014. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dayton's mom is watching her from the stress balcony. We find out that Dayton gets cut before she even gets to training camp. I mean, it honestly seemed like they were doing her a solid by even letting her go through the final auditions again. Dayton's mother, Shelley, has a complete breakdown. This really, to me, highlights how we love our kids so much that sometimes we can't see the truth, which is if she is the associate choreographer of DCC and has been with the organization for 3 decades or whatever plus, if Dayton hadn't been her daughter, she would have been able to see it, but Dayton's her daughter, so she can't see it. And then she makes this comment, which I'm sure she did not think was getting picked up by the mics and the cameras, but you should never, ever doubt a documentarian. And she says, you can't even give someone a chance, that it's someone you held in the hospital a chance. So Dayton's mother is basically saying, how dare you let these more talented rookies have a chance and not my daughter who you have known since birth, which is nepotism.
Well, it just makes me wonder, because they distance them. You can tell distance has happened between season 2 and 3 of the relationship with Judy, Kelli, and Shelley.
Yeah.
And I would love to know more. Honestly, I was like, I know we have, like, the CMT show from the 2000s, but I've never wanted a prequel of the DCC lore from the 80s more in my life.
Yeah.
And, like, how that relationship is, like, has continue to have ramifications, because it's like, what happened in their season together for this to now happen, and, like, how they couch the language that they talk about Dayton and Shelley. Terrifying stuff has happened that we're never going to know the full ramifications of what happened in their dynamic.
And a lot of people online compare and contrast this with the fact that Judy Trammell's daughter was a DCC, and we don't have any footage of this, but apparently, according to random people on the internet, Judy's daughter also was not really up to the standard of the other women who auditioned, but of course Judy's daughter got in. I can't speak to the truth of that because it's also very subjective, obviously, but
of course, yeah.
I mean, like, I'm of two minds about this. I'm sort of like, yeah, just let her in. I mean, for God's sake. But then on the other hand, I'm like, in the most competitive year we have seen so far, because there's only 6 available spots for rookies, and the Netflix show like sent everything into like a crazy competitive tailspin, you're really gonna say, like, because Kelli held this know Kelli, you know how she is. Like, I'm sorry, Shelley, I know this is hard for you as a parent, but like, I don't know, I will never be a parent, but these are the kinds of things where I'm like, maybe we should have from a young age been like, you're really good at arts and crafts. Like,
well, it's the issue of living your dreams vicariously through your child and not letting them come to their own ability to figure out what they want to do. And Dayton having to attempting to live up to an impossible standard of not being able to achieve this dream for her mother. And it's just a bad cycle that no one is going to leave happy from. This is bad for everyone. It's bad for the Cowboys. It's bad for Dayton. It's bad for Shelley. It's just no one wins here. No one wins.
No. So Kelli, I mean, God, I don't know whether to like admire this woman or just fear her. It's a mix of both, because this is a really difficult position to be like letting down your longtime friend and coworker and to be like, I can sleep at night because we gave her every opportunity. The thing is, they did. It just sucks. She probably didn't even necessarily deserve a spot at final auditions, but they gave her one anyway. It's like, I really feel for Dayton, but this whole situation is fucked.
It's tough. Do you think Shelley has hired an Etsy witch?
We have a group of gals who are going to be entering training camp, both vets and rookies. And we are with Megan in the car, and we're talking about, again, the harrowing, speaking of spreadsheets, the harrowing numbers of it all, that there are 30 vets that are returning, which is a very large number. There are only 36 spots available in general, and there are 14 rookies in training camp. So 8 of them are going to be sent home without becoming a DCC. Only 6 will, because, and we'll talk about this more later, they have no understudies, which is insane because understudies are a core piece of the performing arts in all other mediums, because people get hurt, especially when you're doing things that are this rigorous and this challenging on the body. And also, you know, people get common colds every once in a while. They have the all-stars, which are like the veterans that they can call in, but it's crazy to me that they don't cast like 2 more women who are like alternates or understudies, because they would be thrilled. Can you imagine?
I know.
They'd be thrilled. They'd be thrilled to just be on call. Leah is helping Klein move apartments, which moving is one of my like probably top 3 least favorite parts of being alive in the world. So to be doing this while you're in the midst of training camp seems awful. But we hear from Leah, who is also another 5th-year veteran candidate, you just like to be told good job sometimes. And this is an issue I had with the first season, which is Kelli and Judy can be very, very harsh. And similar to what you said about Charlotte, it really seems like with this 3rd season that they're really, really trying to not be as harsh. Because if you go back and watch some of those CMT seasons, they're really mean.
I mean, I think it's a very boomer thing. Like, they didn't grow up being coddled. So it's like, I think they perpetuate that sort of thing. So it's like, thrilling to see that effect. Also in this scene, we find out that Klein has worked with a moving company through socials to get that paid for. And I think that's another thing we start to see a little bit more, because they like sort of mention this in episode 1 and 2, where they talk a lot about how they hope the girls coming on the team are doing this for the right reasons, and they're not coming in for the wrong things, which, because we start to see how much TikTok has also bled into the DCC life as well. So it's like very interesting to see how all of these things sort of weave together in a way that, because Megan leans, she said, I wish everyone could have a true DCC year, meaning without all of the side effects of Netflix.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how it bleeds into every other aspect of their lives.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that way when I think about people who are in, like, college now. I'm like, thank God that social media was not the way it was when we were in college. It was bad enough having Facebook and feeling like I was being left out of social things or underachieving because I was comparing myself to everyone on Facebook. Now it's like, I can't even imagine. So yeah, I totally get that. Emily is learning how to curl her hair. I love Emily because she's just a fantastically talented dancer who seems to be coming more from like just the like general performing arts world, definitely not the cheer and pom world. So yeah. I love that her mom is there teaching her how to curl her hair just now, when like most of these women have known how to curl their hair probably since they were like 10 years old.
I love that she's DEI because her hair is black. I
know.
She is diverse because they're like, she's gonna be a goth girl. She looks like Elvira. I was like, hey, her looking like Elvira is a compliment, because Elvira is hot. I saw Elvira at the Academy Museum a year ago, and queer icon. She's now a lesbian. Has come out of the closet.
Love that.
And she looks the same as she did in the. So like, if someone were to compare me to Elvira, I would wear that with like great acclaim.
Yeah, if someone wants to compare me to, I think her name was Emily, the girl with the ribbon holding on her neck, I'd be like, thank you so much. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course I know about the girl with the green ribbon around her neck. That's the only thing holding her head up. Yes, you and I are from the same dark, twisted corner of the world.
Why doesn't you never tell me I look like the girl with the ribbon holding her head up?
As someone who gets Maggie Gyllenhaal and Kirsten Dunst and Elizabeth Olsen, it's a whole...
But yeah, people are telling her that she looks like she's going to be the first goth DCC, which again, this is crazy. She just got through final auditions and there's already like internet commentary about her. How did they even find her? How do they know who she is? That's so scary. I hate that.
Well, because they're posting about, because I've started following all the DCC accounts on our Instagram. I think they are posting along the way who's at camp. So it makes it very easy to find the trail. It's wild.
Yeah, I don't love that. Like, I understand that like social media is an important tool and you want to document the process, but you are... in the same breath in this documentary where they're saying that they worry about the effects of social media on the girls, if you were truly worried, you'd probably abstain from posting them while they're in this very vulnerable position. Like, it's one thing once they're already on the payroll and it's, they've already signed a contract and they know, but like posting about them now when they're in this vulnerable position and they're not even getting paid for it is... how concerned are you really about them if you're doing that?
I don't know. It's a tricky angle that they're having. Because, that's like a lot of how they've shifted a lot of social media stuff for Love Island this season. Because season 7 was so toxic with social media and having, like, account handlers. They've now turned off that for this season. And comments have been off the entire time they've been on the island. Mm-hmm. So it's allowed for a much more controlled conversation about that. I don't know. Social media just innately... opens up a toxic lane of critique and feedback that once you let it out of the can, much like, in Aladdin, we let the genie out, you can't put the genie back in. So it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. We find out, this is crazy, that Faith and Emily, even though they didn't really know each other, crossed paths because one took over the other's role on this cruise ship contract. And we see these side-by-side images of them like doing the same dance role on this cruise ship. So that's just a crazy overlap. Like, what are the odds? I mean, like, the performing arts community is weirdly very small. We see this, what you see when you enter the gates of hell, which is a bunch of middle-aged women with silver pom-poms in different types of wedge sandals.
It reminds me of, there was that, like, video of, like, one of the I don't know if it was, like, a Bama
Yes,
video,
yes, I bet,
but they were doing the dance. Yeah.
I want to go, yeah. Oh, I remember. Don't you?
I don't know. There's just something inherently about a bunch of, like, bleach blonde women that, like, I can't keep my eyes away from, no matter the age that they're at.
Yeah, so they get their little, like, positivity cheer tunnel from all these former DCCs who haven't moved on with their lives. And we hear from Megan, we're starting to start the conversation of feedback from Kelli and Judy, positive, negative, or otherwise. And Megan is saying, like, they've been better about it recently, because they've been on Netflix. Because before it was like they wouldn't say much to you individually one way or another, and you would just cling on to that one thing. This really resonated with me, again, from a theater college standpoint.
I'll say even dating. I'll say the one piece of feedback that you will cling on to. You're like, wait, that's the thing that. Okay, now I'm going to spiral. This is why you didn't like me. And it's easy to hyperfixate and go down a bad spiral. And I can't recommend it less.
Caroline is in the trenches, and we feel for her. This is crazy to me. Kelli, you were a DCC in the 80s, and you have been doing this for the last 40 years. So to sit in this director's chair in the locker room and be like, I really didn't realize this until they told me, but it turns out they want me to, like, tell them how I think and tell them how I feel about them. It never occurred to me. What?
Well, because I think if you think about how they're coaching them now, imagine being a DCC cheerleader in the 80s.
I know. Yeah, it was probably horrible. And they were all happy to be there and have it be horrible. Yeah.
Well, because I think about, like, even the policies that they've enacted that we see in season 1, where when they do the appearances, that the men have to hold the football.
Yep.
Because that's probably because they're getting slapped on the ass or grabbed on the ass. And, like, the things that had to happen for those to go into place. I can only imagine the amount of cocaine, the amount of just, like, insane, like, chairs being thrown at them.
Oh, yeah.
That maybe even happened to me in high school theater. Like, I just,
Clipboards. We got clipboards thrown. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I have to hold a little bit of grace for baby Kelli as a cheerleader in the 80s to know that I'm glad that that we can still have growth in our 50s and 60s to realize that we don't have to continue the bad treatment because I think there is a mentality of that in the performance world. And in general, that they think, like, oh, because we went through this way, people have to continue to suffer moving forward instead of thinking that we can evolve and improve how those things happen.
Okay, Kelli taking voice notes into her phone is, for me, the funniest part of the whole season on multiple levels, because they're really funny while she takes them, and then they're even funnier when she has them written out by AI, translated by AI, and then printed out without editing them at all, because they're so inaccurate. And then she tries to read them back and has no idea what she says. And so I just love that. Tatum is interesting to me.
And you have to imagine then, while you're dancing, she's not doing them quietly.
No!
You can hear them while you're doing it. So you're having to hear the feedback of what you're doing wrong while she says it then.
Yes.
Then you have to hear it again 10 minutes later.
Yes.
And it's just like, this is hell to have to hear negative feedback twice, like a feedback loop.
You're out of breath and you're sweaty, and meanwhile, Kelli is in the corner going, Klein, your passe looks like a flamingo with rheumatoid arthritis.
She's, like, very Tammy Taylor to me from my, like, Friday Night Lights roots that I don't know, as mean as a snake as I know she is, like, she just comforts me in a way that, like, I know she's steady as a rock.
Carly, the part on the floor, you look a little bit like roadkill on the interstate.
Emily A., you do look like Samara from The Ring, but I do love how high you can kick. I don't want to see you for 7 days.
Amaya, I have not noticed you in about 3 weeks, and I just saw a glimpse of you and was reminded that you are here, so maybe try to be noticeable for once in your life.
Faith! Faith! Can you tell me about those toilets on the side of the world again?
Also, you're slouching. And then she reads it back and is like, who's Ruru? And there's something about her butt. Does anyone know what that means? Something about Ruru's butt.
It's so comforting.
It's yeah, that's ASMR.
Comforting.
I could fall asleep listening to Kelly Finglass's voice notes.
It's like she's terrifying, but then we know her weekness is still technology.
Yeah,
like there's still something human about her, and that's like why she's true. Like we love her, and she's her and Judy are, you know, they're our Matt and Ben of cheerleading.
We find out that Emily is really struggling because this is just it's a very, very new environment. Like, even if you've been through the trenches of a dance audition or a dance callback for like theater, very, very, very different environment. Emily's really struggling. It reminds me of, you know, I took 14 years of dance as a kid and really thought that that would translate in my adulthood to, you know, having to go to like a dance callback for a musical. Yeah. And I have never felt more humbled in my entire life. So she's really going through it. She's like shutting down. You can see it on her face.
It's like a tough thing when you feel like you've excelled at everything in your life until a certain point, and then to find the first thing that really has forced you to reckon with your ability. And it's just that it's a new style for her, but it's like that will fuck with you so badly, and like she's so talented and like so like engaging to watch, but you know, your inner saboteur can be your own downfall, regardless of like how talented and the years of experience you have behind you.
Yeah, and she's really going through it. She's saying she's about to have a breakdown. I mean, you can see that she's like close to tears while she's dancing. And fortunately, Faith is right there with her because Faith is struggling with the exact same things. And they're both just having this experience of like, I am out of my body. I have never been this. It's nervousness. Like your brain just... your anxiety gets the best of you, and like all of your motor skills, ability to remember things, like it's just gone, and it only makes it worse. Like you can't recover from it because you're in this endless feedback loop of like, oh my God, my brain is shutting down, which is making my body shut down, and I can't get one back without the other.
And I have to say also, we love Faith. I could not handle Faith in this situation because she cannot stop talking.
I know.
And when I'm in that sort of situation where I'm shutting down, I'm like, I need you to actually stop talking because, like, I'm just trying to reset my brain and to have her which I also get it. She's processing her anxiety, but that would make me more anxious to have someone who can't stop talking next to me.
I would spend a lot of time in the bathroom stall if I were like auditioning for DCC. I'd spend a lot of time in the bathroom stall by myself. But yeah, so episode 2 ends with, you can see it's I get that they have to organize their notes somehow and that they have a system, but it just feels really harsh to just look at a big old no in loopy cursive above your name. And at this point, we see that Emily and Faith are no's for the evening.
And how are you supposed to tell all those blondes apart? I would not be able... This would be the worst game of Guess Who, is like going through the DCC cheerleaders. Okay, they're not brunette. No, and then you have, okay, are they the blonde with a bob, or are they a blonde with long hair?
I know.
I just would not be able to keep them straight.
No, absolutely not. I mean, we'll talk about the lack of racial diversity as well in a few minutes, but yeah. So we are now on episode 3, which is called Firecracker. This opens in Orem, Utah. The sign for Orem, Utah says Family City, USA. So we get a sense of place right there.
I looked on Wikipedia. As of 2002, over 97% of all church-going citizens of Orem are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And due to the high numbers of Latter-day Saints in the area, they built a temple in Orem in 2019.
Okay, so if anyone was wondering whether or not Savannah is part of the LDS Church, I was not wondering, I knew, but here it is. Yeah, and we can see this like little shrine to Savannah and her dance. She says, I always felt supportive and safe and loved, and like, I'm sure she did. And we see little Savannah. This was, shout out to the documentarians. This was a very like poignant sequence of like her growing up in the world of dance, and we have Cheer Up Sleepy Jean like playing in the background. It was well put together. And we also hear from Savannah's mom and her little brother Watson. You're reminded just how young these women are, because like clearly there's an age gap between her and her little brother, but like you're just reminded how young they are, because her little brother looks to be like 10 years old, and is like, I missed you at home, but like, I hope you're doing well and go for it. And you're like, oh my God, these people are so young. Like,
I know. And just like how much, and you see these families where they like put all of their time and energy into her talent, and and we've, us like growing up doing things like that, like they're fully supported in this basically being like a 9-to-5 job, like as a child, like fully putting in all of those dreams and all of their hopes and buckets like into that. And it's interesting. And I'll say also with Savannah too, a lot of the criticism that they're like saying about it's we're short girls, so I think there's something about Savannah that like strikes a chord with me, because they frequently call her like firecracker, which I think there is like sort of this weird way as a short person. I'm 5'2". Often people are like, are you really 5'2"? And which is, how dare you, we will get the measuring stick. But I think there is a bit of like, when they call you a firecracker like that, or you just like are bold, it's like they don't take you seriously.
No.
When you're 5'2", it's your height at the end of the day, and it's like this weird thing because you're this diminutive stature that people put you in a different category because of that. I don't know. This really like dug up some stuff I didn't think it was going to, but like the way that they keep going, because it's just you can't control your height, and it's frustrating that this is something that comes up over and over again for Savannah this season.
I'm 5'3", so I hear you. I only have an inch on you. Faith and Emily A are in, some sort of like conference center room at the hotel near the Dallas Star, practicing endlessly, and they're just, recounting how helpless they felt the night before and how embarrassing it was for them. And it's just sort of the moment that dawns on them that this is going to be harder than they even expected. We are back at practice, and Kelli and Judy are commenting how certain of the rookies just like look like they're veterans already, Bree, Brenly, and Parker, which leads into a conversation about the distinction between what they keep saying, and it kind of sounds derogatory when they say it, cruise line dancer versus like college dance team dancer. And you talked a little bit about this earlier, but Megan's highlighting this, like with a professional dancer, aka what they call a cruise line dancer, you're going to get like that artistry, that individuality, that like incredible technical training. But with somebody who's coming from a college dance team, they're used to learn this routine right now, make it perfect right now, perform in front of a whole stadium, palms. Like, that's an element that, like, as a non-dancer, I'm like, how hard could it be to, like, deal with your palms? But it's a whole other element that you have to think of, because, you're waving them around like a fucking air traffic controller while doing everything else. So, yeah, there's, like, different benefits to both, but it does kind of seem, at least to me, like the people who are coming from collegiate palm have more of an advantage over someone who, might have like incredible classical ballet training but can't pick the style up that quickly. And then Faith. I felt so uncomfortable during these moments of friction where Kelli and Judy are trying to give Faith a note, and she's trying to do her best to like take it. And also, Faith has come from across the world and has clearly been told either by Kelli and Judy or by her like fellow the vets or somebody, like, hey, you have to respond to everything with yes, ma'am, which I grew up in the northern part of the East Coast. So the idea that you would have to say yes, ma'am feels very bad to me.
Yeah, it's part of it. It's just like, I mean, I grew up and I still do it. It's just like, it's like you say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. It's just a part of the.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I'll be honest
Well,
with you. I really don't like
I know.
it.
It's just like, I mean, to me, it doesn't really stand because it's just like, it's what I grew up doing.
Right, of course.
And it's like, it's like the etiquette of that. So it's like, it's just like a reverence thing of like your elders, and it's just, but also, do not man me. I will never be of an age to be mammed. I don't care if do not man me. I don't want to hear it. If you are mamming me, get out.
If I am visibly over 100 years old, you will not call me ma'am, and do not do it. Yeah, but there are these moments of friction where like Faith is trying to just take the note, but they haven't even finished talking yet, and she's like, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. And then what I really don't like is that they then go, well, don't say that until I've finished, or don't, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Like, they make fun of her publicly about it, and like shame her publicly about it, which like, I know they're just, I don't know. There's a lot about being in this environment that I find very triggering, and that like, I would leave every single rehearsal crying for comments that Kelli and Judy feel are completely fair and innocuous. We have like one of the other who the fuck knows who this is, dance teacher's choreography, telling Kelli what she already knows, which is that Emily, though talented, would be a project because she's just not ready to dance the DCC style.
And there's like a funny way that Kelli talks about her she's just, I love the way she moves. I just think she's and it's very, I'm like, I've not heard Kelli really talk about this with any of the other dancers like this before. It's a little bit like she has a crush on her. Like, I don't know what it is, but there's something about Emily A to Kelli that creates like a weird feedback that is different than I feel like the way that you hear her talk about other dancers.
Agreed. She is definitely like fixated on her, and she is her favorite, even though she knows that she's probably not going to make it this season. And then back to the conversation about Savannah's height, like they wish that she was taller. And Judy even says that she hates when they have these height conversations because they have never published, like the Rockettes, I believe, have a height requirement.
They do. It's, I think it's 5'8". I think because I was reading about this for Victoria auditioning. So there is a height, which makes sense. So it's like, if you're gonna, I don't know, if this is gonna be a point of contention every season, then maybe we need to talk about height requirements, because it just sucks that someone like Savannah's strung along and then it's her height. That is ultimately and that sucks. She's so talented.
I know. And they say that, like, if you are short, and Klein even, chimes in and agrees with this, if you are 5'3" or below, you have to be the entire package. You, like, cannot have any mistakes, any flaws, and you have to, like, probably expend, like, twice as much energy to, like, not make it obvious that you're short, which is crazy.
It's like, can't we have anything? We can't reach things.
I know.
I have to humble myself at a grocery store, standing on the lowest shelf, reaching back there. I can't see anything at a concert. Just, like, let short people have something.
I know.
Like, we get it. I would love to know what it's like to be 5'6", but come on, we can't choose this.
We can't. We really can't. Ugh. I've climbed.
This has really woken up something. This is really...
We finally are talking about, like, part of what made last season so dark for Jenna was that in the midst of training camp, she was under eating and was very, very small. And people would make comments. And she says, like, it always starts with people being like, you look great. And then you don't know that you're in it too far until you're already in it too far. And she was saying, like, people would be like, why aren't you eating? She'd be like, I'm just not hungry, or I need to feel skinny for practice. This is something that I thought about a lot during the first season, especially when they were doing the uniform fittings. And Jenna makes the point, like, it was actually a blessing that she got cut because she made it through uniform fittings in this body that was not sustainable for her. And the way DCC works is that's your uniform for all 4 years. I don't know how strict they are about that, but like, it seems like, you get your tiny little pair of hot pants and you're expected to fit into that. Meanwhile, you are doing as much physical activity as a professional athlete, if not more. So this really resonated.
Yeah, and something I think, like, we haven't really seen yet on like with the team that I'm curious next season if it'll be a thing. Like we haven't really seen Ozempic at the girls yet.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh God.
So
Oof. That really. That's a really upsetting thought to me. That's a really upsetting thought to me.
So I think that's something we haven't seen really hit on the show yet, and that makes me kind of nervous as we move forward how that may affect some of the people auditioning for the team.
Yeah, that is a really, I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking from the standpoint of like when I was around these girls' age was when I was in like the height of, I was never like diagnosed with an eating disorder. I thought in my head, the way I rationalized it was that I dabble in all different kinds of disordered eating behaviors. Sometimes I don't eat enough. Sometimes I overexercise. Every once in a while I make myself throw up, but I'm in college. People throw up from drinking all the time. Like that was how I rationalized it to myself, is like, well, sometimes if I like binge, I will make myself throw up, but like I could have just as easily thrown up from binge drinking. So it's like not that big of a deal. And I would dabble in all the different ones. So I didn't think I had anorexia or bulimia because I was like, well, it's not like I'm doing any of these every day. And it wasn't until I wandered into like one of the rooms in our college center because there was the like campus health center was, I saw that there was free food. I was like, ooh, there's free cheese cubes in here. Wonderful. And I realized it was a presentation on like the risks of eating disorders. The woman at the front was like, oftentimes people don't realize they have an eating disorder because they're not doing the same pattern of disordered eating every day. And I like had a bunch of cheese cubes in my mouth and I was like, oh no. This really resonated with me of like when you're young and people are giving you compliments and you're just excited to look the same way everybody else does and to look skinny, traditionally skinny and beautiful, you don't know before it's too late. And yeah, I didn't even think about Ozempic.
And it's also part of this, again, patriarchal system that they're in. Naturally, women need to be smaller because it falls in line with all of the sort of falling in the guidelines of what that system looks like.
You know, we addressed this in season 1 with Victoria. Like Kelli and Judy will tell you that you need to be fueling your body, but in the same breath, they're not going to cast somebody in DCC that's over like 130 pounds. No. Not going to happen. We're now focusing on Klein for a second, where Klein was debating whether or not she had more to give in a 5th year and was mentioning that her uniform turn-in last season was very, very strange. And this was kind of upsetting. Like they really, I know like Klein isn't afraid to speak out and she can handle it, but because of that, she does take more abuse from the powers that be. And Kelli and Judy kind of unnecessarily are telling her like, hey, if you're going to come back for a 5th season, like your teammates don't want you to be a group leader. They don't view you as a leader. And that they took from, you know, the survey that they sent out. But then Kelli goes too far and is like, maybe it's because they think that you're putting too much, you care more about content and social media than the team. And I'm like, Kelli, that's you talking. Like, you're putting words in the girl's mouth.
And also Klein mentions it earlier. She became a group leader in a really weird situation with Shandy in season 2, where Shandy like had left on a trip with a guy and there was some weird sexual stuff and it sort of like frictioned the squad in general. So I think it's not a good reflection of her being as a leader because it wasn't like she had that.
It was under duress, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's like not a fair criticism to give her because she did the best that she could under the circumstances that she was putting them under.
And Klein has a little bit of a breakdown because, you know, all she's trying to do is turn in her uniform and say she's excited about the next year, and they're like really coming at her. And of course, in the moment, Kelli rationalizes as like, well, they're saying they want more feedback. It's like, oh, yeah, Kelli. But ultimately, Klein decides she is going to come back. And Klein seems to really mean it when she says, you know what, like, I just want to like be with my teammates. I do it for the friendships. I do it to be able to dance. And she's going to find a way to speak up and advocate regardless of whether she's an official group leader. This is crazy. In the midst of training camp, so these women have not officially made the team yet. Some of them are vets. I know Jada is like a vet, but they go to New York to do press for the season of America's Sweethearts that's dropping. So this is going to be a thing every year now for as long as they do this Netflix show, is during training camp, Kelli and Judy are going to leave with a select group of cheerleaders who technically still have to audition. Like, the logistics of this, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. Which makes me wonder, I imagine they're probably going to beef up the DCC All-Stars, I think, as the Netflix show continues, because then they're not having to pull from training camp as much. So I think it makes sense to me. Like, we saw Klein has been openly posting about being a DCC All-Star a lot since her 5th year. So I think we're probably going to see more of a balance of that. But also, it's going to also be affected by who are narrators of the season. Like, that's like because they're gonna want to see Reece. They're gonna want to see from last season Charlie and why can't I think of her name right now from New Jersey?
Kelly V.
Kelly, yeah, Charlie and Kelly V. So you're gonna want to see the people that we follow. And again, like I said, it's gonna create weird dynamics, like we've already said with Reece, because they're gonna be more publicly facing than the other 30 women on the team.
Yeah, it's just it would make me feel a certain type of way if I was a second or third year vet, had not been selected for this group to go to New York, and the expectation is still the group in New York is still not necessarily automatically going to make the squad, but like they are. I love that we get an appearance from Niecy Nash and
JBH, my girl, Jenna
And I love that Niecy is just as taken aback as everybody is when they find out that you have to re-audition for your spot every single year. Yeah, Niecy is all of us who are like, I'm sorry, what? You're at no advantage having done it the year before. And we find out from Reece that all of these media appearances, all of this fame is really sort of starting to bother her. She would never say that outright. This was really interesting to hear. She never wants anyone's interaction with her to be something that they didn't expect. So she wants to be able to maintain whatever image millions of individual people have of her and be able to give that back to them publicly, which is really asking a lot of yourself.
I know, because this girl, she just wanted to dance for her creator. She wants to be married to Will. Like, she just wants to, like, have her little life, and this just really exploded her in a way that I don't think she or Will or anyone could have ever foreseen happening.
No, not at all. We find out that Parker's dad got into a fight with someone online. Emily has people posting her last name and what town she's from, and that, like, people are posting about how, like, the boyfriends and husbands of the girls are, like, ugly compared to them. I don't understand. Like, we grew up with the internet. We're millennials.
Yeah.
We're one of the last generations that can even have a faint memory of the time before. I sometimes feel like the little boy in The Giver of, like, millennials. No, I'm serious though, because millennials.
No, I know. The Giver is a reference point that by Loris Lowry that I love to use, that people are like, why are we talking about The Giver again?
No, but it's so relevant.
I know. It is. Go ahead.
Millennials are the old man and then the little boy in The Giver. We hold tomes of mainly the human relationship to media, because we're one of the last generations, we're one of the only generations who can remember the time before and is adept at the current time. You know what I mean? Like, boomers can remember the time before, but they can't figure out how to use Google. And Gen Alpha doesn't remember a time without social media. So we are The Giver, essentially, and it is a blessing and mostly a curse. But yeah, these are the moments in this documentary that I'm like, God, on top of everything else that these women have to deal with.
It's even, like, interesting because I'll see, like, on TikToks when any of the former DCC get married, and it's a tradition that they do Thunderstruck, like, at the reception. You'll see, like, okay, who made the cut? It was interesting, actually. One of my favorite people who's currently on The Valley, she's now a lesbian, shout out Jasmine. She just got married, but she also was on her lore is crazy because she was on The Bachelor, and this was, like, before she was, like, fully queer. Now she's on The Valley, on Bravo, but she only had, like, 6 or, and it's like, oh, I love this because, like, the DCC is not her whole whole lore. But then you see these other people, they have like 20 of them at their reception. It becomes a whole chunk of your identity.
Any moment of like female bonding in this show just like warms my heart.
Oh, yeah.
In like the deepest possible way. Like the friendships that these girls form with each other under great duress is really special and important to me personally.
It's like the sisterhood is always what brings us back, no matter the show, fictional, non-fictional, and real life. It's just, God, these are the greatest. They're the soulmates. You know, men are just the fun we have along the way. The Lucchese's are just the fun we're going to have along the way. The girls or who we're going to come back to, whether they make the team or not. And that, I'm just so glad they have each other.
I know. Faith is just an icon. What do you guys call it? Walmart? That the one?
I know.
She's just an icon. I love somebody experiencing America for the first time and realizing how fucking weird it is here.
That's the best part of the World Cup. Everyone discovering ranch. And like how the TSA has had to make comments telling them you can't bring a giant bottle of ranch through security, put it in your check-on. We are a horrible, horrible country, but we do have some great things that, like, come on, ranch is great. I hate to tell you, like, ranch, bring it back to Europe. Take it back across the reverse Tea Party. Take back ranch, you know?
Yeah, this is like the modern day version of like the spice trade.
Yeah!
The condiment trade.
And your life will be better. Yeah, dip your pizza in Napoli and ranch. Your life is going to be opened up by 1,000.
Speaking of which, the girls all try Vegemite and they hate it. Everybody comes back from New York, and this moment, again, like the tension between Kelli, Finglass, and Klein is really funny to me because Kelli just like, she has such a love-hate relationship with her that, you know, the DCC that was like leading rehearsals in their stead, like the former DCC, whoever she is, another blonde lady, is like, Klein actually really stepped up and like was a leader. And the first thing out of Kelli's mouth is like, in a positive way or in a look at me way. I'm like, Kelli!
I think it's because Kelli sees things in Klein that she sees in herself.
We find out that Savannah is now only a maybe. She's struggling a little bit, and then Faith and Emily are continuing to struggle, and that is where we leave episode 3. And we head into episode 4, Americana Darling. We are on the field, and we are once again having a height conversation, and they're saying, do we just tell Emily R. you're too short for this team? Babes, have a published height requirement so that we can avoid this. You can kill the dreams before they enter the room and have been imbued with hope.
God, it sucks. It just sucks. I hate it.
I know.
Short people need to unionize. Like, I just... Our clothes already don't fit us when we go to the store. We have to get everything tailored.
Listen. Emily gets brought in for a meeting, but it is not a cut meeting. It is we are infatuated and captivated by you, but you're not up to standard, so we'll give you a little more time meeting, which is a relief. And God bless Emily. She does seem to really take this in her stride surprisingly well for somebody who has said many times that they feel anxious and doomed. This is a difficult meeting. Ugh. They cut Emily R, and Emily R asks directly, like, should I come back and audition next year? And they kind of tell her no without telling her no. They're like, I don't want to, like, give you false hope, and we've maybe said that to some other girls, but we're not sure we can say that to you. And it's like, oh my God, like, that sucked. Poor Emily R. They're like, well, maybe you can come back and audition if you somehow grow 3 inches.
Like, dude, if spoiler alert, if you haven't seen The Materialist, get the surgery that Pedro Pascal's character gets. Like, it makes him over 6 feet tall. So
yeah,
go get
that sucks.
height surgery.
That makes my legs hurt thinking about it. We've reached makeover day, and fucking Kevin. This is where we find out that Savannah is fucked because...
And before this, also, we see him pouring over the photos with his 2 dogs. My favorite breed of gay man. His children are his giant Great Danes that are sitting side by side as he's going through all of them. I would love an entire series just on Kevin. Because this is the gay man. There's so much more to his life, and I'm like, I need to know everything.
I know. I agree with that completely. He's a real character, and has been the lead stylist for these DCC makeovers for a number of years. He and Kelli have a very, like, love-hate relationship, and he points to Savannah and is like, I want to take her strawberry blonde. And as an audience member who has watched the other seasons, you're like, poor Savannah is about to have her dreams ruined by hair dye.
And for people who have survived the trauma of watching Makeover Days on America's Next Top Model for years upon years, we've seen what happens and how this goes, and it's tough to know when the worst is near.
And Kevin says, and we get these like, you know, shout out to the documentarians, we get these close-up shots of like the girls, you can like even, you can see their thoughts because they're so close to their faces. And Kevin saying like, girls, they don't ever say no. They say whatever Kelli says is what I'm going to get, and I'm just going to deal with it even if I don't like it, because you can't say no to her. And this is a really interesting moment, you know, because Parker is obviously one of the only women of color in the rookie contender pool. And Parker has said the day before to Savannah, like, my hair is very precious to me. It's hard to grow it out long. It's worth its weight in gold to me. And like, I am not going to pretend that I'm happy with something that I'm not happy about. And I am happy to see that they have women of color on the hair and makeup team. So fortunately, they are not subjecting these women to,
which is a shift, because they used to not have anyone on their
yes,
team. Yeah.
which is disrespectful. It is disrespectful. I'm not saying that white women can't do black hair, but it is disrespectful in this fraught situation where people take, you know, their appearance very seriously to not have somebody who knows what they're doing and who looks like you in the room.
Like, the texture is, there's just, our hair is not the same. Like, and you need someone who is able to understand what that and like, you know, and especially she's wearing her hair natural like this, like that's its own way of taking care of it versus someone who is wears wigs or has sew-ins and things like that.
So you can see in Parker's eyes that she's like agreeing to what they're suggesting, but you can tell there's some fear there, and this made me nervous. They're taking Emily away from the jet black, which it seems like she didn't really care that much about it being jet black. It seemed like she just did that to lean into, you know, her like cruise ship look. So they're taking her to a softer brown, and she seems fine with it. And so poor Savannah just wants to be Kevin's little project because he loves red hair. He loves strawberry blonde. And Kelli does not seem into it, and poor little Savannah is just sitting there like a doll. She can't do anything. She's caught between, she's literally just sitting in between what Kevin wants to do just for fun. Kelli clearly doesn't like it, and I'm sure if you're Savannah, you want to pipe up and be like, let's just do what Kelli likes, please.
Because Kelli makes a comment that he says he wants to make someone red every season.
Yes.
That's the thing that comes to her. There's someone every year, a project he wants to try. And as someone who has done the legwork of, I hate to spoil it for all of you, this is not my natural hair color. It is a lot of work to go red. And it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone, and it's not for our girl Savannah. As someone who's like gone like crazy shades of blonde in their youth, it's tough, and you can't really come back from it. And you have to look at yourself. I know people will always see you overreact when your hair looks bad, but unfortunately, you do have to look at it every day. And it is tough when it feels like your hair doesn't match what you feel like. And that is such an out-of-body experience, and it can affect every other aspect of your life. I'm sorry, hair is important. I hate to tell you. You want to look how you feel.
Also, you're setting these women up to have to continue to pay money for a hair color that they did not choose and don't like. Okay? Mm-hmm. And I doubt that they are giving them a stipend, like a beauty stipend, like a separate beauty stipend.
They talk about it in season 2. They partner with a lot of these. So essentially, the social media thing comes into play.
Okay.
So they have a like partnership now more with some of these places. So essentially, much like they fight about on Real Housewives of Rhode Island this season, I think if they post and things like that, then they get that in exchange.
I got you.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then, oh my God, the show needed this. We get a new character, and she is Kook City, Kook City, England, really. Charlotte Tilbury. Coming in to give everyone the Tilbury touch. We're going to give you the Tilbury touch. She is wackadoo, and I love her. I had no idea. Did you have any idea that this was what Charlotte Tilbury was like?
Yeah, because I think I've watched from like other award show appearances, and when she comes on like the Today Show and things like that, and I think inherently anyone that runs a makeup line is a little kook. I think just inherently you have to be a little kook to have a makeup line.
I didn't even know she was a real person. To me, she's a lip liner. Like, I didn't know. She's hilarious.
Yeah.
She is wandering around, touching all the girls' faces, touching all the girls' hair, and she goes, I put this makeup on Celine Dion, and she was in the rain at the top of the Eiffel Tower, and it was fine, and it didn't smudge or smear once. I put this makeup on Mariah Carey, and she sang in the middle of a lightning storm on the bow of a barge. Emily's reaction to Charlotte Tilbury is my reaction to Charlotte Tilbury. She's like, this is the most overwhelming figure to be. I'm in a very vulnerable spot with like, I'm wearing like a fucking hairdresser cloak and my hair's wet and I have this kooky British woman coming in. And I just love this Americana, darling. And you can tell that she told the cameraman, like, you need to shoot me from a high angle. Okay, that's how I look bad.
Yeah, I'm curious, like, what, because obviously, okay, she's sponsored the auditions. She's now come in on makeover day. Like, how much money are they making? Like, but what was the deal between Charlotte Tilbury and the DCC? I'm just, like, so curious what that, I would have loved to have seen, like, that behind the scenes of the brand partnership between the two.
Call Kelly Finglass's daughter, get a spreadsheet.
I know. Because, like, Charlotte Tilbury, like, she's a high-end when, like, you go to Sephora and Ulta, and you get, because her main product, like, is the, like, poreless primer is the main one that I feel like is the and it's, like, $80. Like, it's not, like, a cheap price point. So I'm very curious how this all came to be.
Yeah, as am I. But, yeah, there she is. Americana, darling. The Tilbury touch. Parker's hair comes out looking fabulous, and she seems very happy with it, thank God. I was worried about that. Oh, poor Savannah. Oh, poor Savannah.
She looks like the daughter in Mommy Dearest.
Oh no. I was gonna say she looks like a sad Precious Moments figurine.
Look at that doll. Like, that is the same person.
I mean, there's a little bit of Jean-Benet Ramsey in there as well. I don't want to get you started. I don't want to get you started.
That's I got nothing but time to talk about Jean-Benet.
We're doing 7 episodes of DCC. I should not have said Jean-Benet Ramsey to you. That was a mistake. That was a mistake.
You awakened a sleeper cell agent that was just like resting back here. She was eating crackers. She was like,
Jean-Benet, while they're interviewing Savannah about her new strawberry blonde hair.
Yeah, I know.
You can actually see, I couldn't catch a screenshot of it. You can actually see Kelly sort of scoot by in the background. So she does see it and just kind of ignores it and is like, I'm not going to deal with that. And then you have Savannah sitting there being like, is she coming back? Is she going to look at my hair? Where is she? It's so awkward.
It's like shocking to me. Okay, because like it's just the tone of that blonde. There's no dimension to it. It's like they did no highlights with it. It's so dull.
It is dull.
It really washes her out.
It does. Yeah, so that's the last we see of Makeover Day. Post Makeover Day at rehearsal with the rookies, Kelly asks if Faith can come in a ponytail tomorrow. And Faith, who is not fucking around, uses her entire water break to put up a ponytail right away. Yeah. Which is a smart move, honestly. Like, a bold move, but a smart one on her part. Faith is the most able to deal with Kelly and Judy and sort of shake it off. If you're going to be negative to me, you're going to try and make me feel small, I am going to come right back with just as much positive energy. So she puts that ponytail on right away, and immediately all it took was the ponytail, and now all of a sudden they can really see her as a DCC. Savannah, on the other hand, I hate this. She's in the middle of dancing her heart out, and you just hear Kelly. What did we say? As soon as Kevin decided she was going to be his little project, everyone watching was like, this is the end of Savannah. It's the end of Savannah.
And I don't understand why they couldn't send her back to fix it. Like, that is, like, the most egregious thing to me. You're going to put her in this hair color that washes her out, ruins her chances. You can't send her back to fix it.
She was already being criticized for being too short, which has nothing to do with her abilities. Yeah. And then you put her in a hair color that you don't like and she doesn't like. And now that's going to tip it right over the edge to get rid of her, unfortunately. And you can just see, she knows. I mean, to be honest, I don't think it looks bad on her. Like, I actually think she's beautiful. So I think she would look good in probably any hair color. But just her face, she looks completely, she knows the end is nigh.
You know what? She kind of looks like Megan. I was trying to figure out, like, what the hair color makes her look like Megan the doll, like, a little bit. There's just
God, from the movie.
Yeah.
She does. That's actually true. That's true.
I love Meath Regan so much. I love that little freak.
Oh man.
I would love to see Meath Regan audition for the DCC. I'd love to see her make it. I'd love to see her with the dancers.
That's a crossover we need. Yeah, I agree. Lots of good ideas being thrown around today. We have a brief moment talking about Ava's cut, which happened on the CMT series, because Ava is now, I can't remember how many years, but a 4th or 5th year veteran. Yeah. So she got cut on the previous program before Netflix. And this is kind of crazy to me. They cut her because she was doing TikTok dances that had swear words in them. And I went online, and apparently she also, like, gave the middle finger in some of these dances. It's a fucking TikTok dance, but, like, they're so strict. For as much as they understand the social media landscape, they're so, I don't know, the purity culture of, like, she can't dance to a song that has curse words in it on her personal TikTok, not representing the DCC, is a crazy reason to cut someone, in my opinion.
I mean, it's just, unfortunately, that's, I think that age, that generation, it's going to be very difficult for them to really grow with, like, how our generation and below, we don't really care what we post online, but they will view us. Because, I mean, it's like, I think about, like, when we were first on Facebook, you had to wipe any picture of you drinking on Facebook, because you're like, that could affect any sort of job.
This leads into, we find out that Judy actually has her ear to the ground on Reddit. Mm-hmm. And she's like,
I love that.
Yeah, she's telling Kelli, like, online, they're really gonna love Journey. And Kelly's like, how do you know that? She's like, they already do. I saw it on Reddit. And we find out that Anna Kate, unexpectedly in my mind, because Anna Kate just seems like a very benign figure to me, is the subject of, like, a relentless amount of bullying online. And Kelly's reaction is my reaction of, like, what in God's name has Anna Kate done that offends anybody? Because from my point of view, watching her in season 1, the most offensive thing about Anna Kate is that she, like, doesn't leave a whole lot of an impression. Like, she's very, like, benign would be the word I would use. So, like, it's just very strange. They end up bringing Faith in to tell her that they were sent some, like, still images of her that are inappropriate, that Faith is like, these are from 4 years ago. And I don't know where these people got them. I didn't post them. Like, it's psychos on the internet who are going and digging stuff up. But she still gets reprimanded by Kelli and Judy. And, you know, they tell her the classic thing, like, you have to post pictures that little girls would look up to. And Faith, to her credit, just sits there and is like, this is a really helpful chat. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, it just becomes, like, a weird thing of, like, when does it become the internet's word against the girls? Like, the girls, like, they can't, how are they supposed to defend themselves when they've already come in, when they've made a preconceived notion because of something someone dug up on the internet, versus coming to the girls and, like, letting hear them out. And that just really sucks that, you know, it's now you have to contend with a bunch of keyboard warriors who are digging up things about you that are now impacting your chance at being on the team, when you should just be concerned about your performance every day. Like, you already have, so now it's a whole other layer of parasocial criticism that's, like, coming into play. Women can never do things 100% right. And it's so infuriating to see this over and over again.
And in the case of the DCC, you somehow also have to be able to control what random strangers on the internet are
Yeah.
digging up and posting about you, which you have no control over. There's no way. Like, what are you? You're not a hacker. Yeah. Emily and Faith are getting manicures, and in some cases, the internet is very funny, and they're coming up with like, you know, funny stuff about manifesting Emily claiming her rookie spot and becoming our first goth DCC. And I love that Emily is leaning into this with her, like, you know, Panic at the Disco moment in the nail salon. And we're coming toward uniform fitting time, and Kelli is saying, I don't want to fit a uniform on somebody we're not going to see earning it, which is good. They should definitely not get people's hopes up, because what did you say? Well, yeah. Yeah, it is. No, it's true, because a lot of these uniform fittings feels like you're watching Say Yes to the Dress. Like, they get in the uniform and they start crying because like they're seeing a vision of themselves that you don't want to take that away from them. Like, ugh.
But it's like, okay, it's like why I'm getting mad at Sincere on Love Island. Don't say when you're dating, like, oh, you're going to be my wife. You're going to be the mother of my children. And like, that's absolutely not happening. You're just like putting false hopes and dreams on person when like, it's not going to happen, babes.
Yeah, exactly. Cooper, poor Cooper. I don't even know who this is because they haven't even mentioned her. And appropriately, they say you're blending, you're not standing out in the room, which, again, like, this is everything they say to these women. I'm like, how would I even go on with my life if somebody said this to me? It reminds me of the time in my life where I was performing a lot more. And for those of you who may know the insider lore of the Chicago improv scene, there was a woman named Sharna Halpern who was the be all. I know you're like, why is she bringing this up? She was the be all end all of, her opinion was the only one that mattered for a while at the IO Theater in Chicago. She no longer works there or owns it, but I remember I would already be nervous to perform, and then she had these little dogs that were like Flotsam and Jetsam, and they were like, you know, the horsemen of the apocalypse. They would run into the room and you would know, uh-oh, Sharna's here. Sharna's going to watch the show. And then you would have what you thought was an okay show, and then she'd come backstage and say one thing to you like this, and you'd be like, great, I'm going to think about that for the next several months, and it's going to ruin my confidence. It was the only time in my life I've ever hated seeing a dog enter a room because I knew what was coming afterward. So yeah, I don't know how these women recover from this kind of feedback.
I don't know how I'm going to recover from us talking about Sharna, so I need like 10 seconds to bounce back.
And then the moment we all knew was coming, poor Savannah in her new strawberry blonde hair.
Savannah, no smiles.
Yeah.
Savannah, no smiles.
Yeah. They're telling her in her cut that they would have fixed her hair differently. Yeah, no shit. And Judy is saying, you let your nerves get to you. You're too nervous, which is like, of course. Yeah. How could you not? Like, I would need to be on beta blockers, like, constantly to deal with this. And she reveals to them that this has been her lifelong dream, which they didn't know. But they do tell her, like, there's no reason why you couldn't eventually make the team. Like, definitely come back next year. And as we know, she is currently in training camp right now. So, like, fingers crossed, prayers up for Savannah.
Prayer warriors. Lift your hands up for our girl Savannah, because we want her to make the team. Well, because also we know that also this season in particular, there were so few spots for rookies, but we also knew they had so many fifth years that were leaving at the end of this season. So in theory, numbers should hopefully be a bit more kind.
And then we get to uniform fittings, and we can see our rookie Amaya smiling as if she just found her dream wedding gown in her DCC uniform, and that is where we leave off. All right, we have reached episode 5, Strong and Wrong. We're starting here with Journey, who we have not heard from since the live audition. I wanted to add this in just because this language of, like, I just trust that my plan is already written feels very Christian-coded, as we've talked about. These women use Christianity as a way to kind of organize their thoughts and feelings and put the stresses of this environment somewhere. And it's got to be very weird for someone who is not of the Christian faith, or maybe not as practicing, to be entering into this environment that, like, it's not a requirement to be a DCC to be Christian, but it's definitely a big part of.
Yeah. Which is what I'm assuming when we see like Faith and Emily A. cruise line dancers, like Coda. It just feels like, oh, they're not of the ilk and of the culture of Texas and like that part of the Bible Belt, and that, you know, they're just going to stick out like a sore thumb to Judy and Kelli no matter what they do, because they're not bending themselves to all of those confines of the structure of Christianity.
Yeah, it's sort of like how Jehovah's Witnesses call non-Jehovah's Witnesses worldly. Not a compliment to be a worldly person. We find out that they still have to make 5 more cuts. And here is where we thought that Kelli and Judy had learned to not say certain offensive-leaning things after being on this show for a couple seasons, but
you know, you can't keep my girl down, we can't. I got a little bit of Kelly's gonna stay there, and I just gotta say, I know that sitting at this conference room table when Kelli and Judy have their iPads out and their readers on, that would heal me in a way that biblically, that like no SSRI could. I just, them getting like things wrong on autocorrect and like voice texting and just everything is wrong. They're talking about the episode of Elsbeth they watched on CBS last night. I just know that these women, there are pro tags. Like the women auditioning are going to change, but Kelli and Judy are at the core, and this whole thing doesn't work without these two. So I love them. And I want to see them on my screen every day that I can.
She says that Tatum is pretty in a Kardashian way, which I don't know exactly what she means by that. Tatum is ethnically ambiguous. She has a curvy figure. It doesn't sit super right hearing it. We see that Faith is lean in the uniform, which is always good to be, even if it's, not something that anyone has any control over. And Kelli again reiterates that her project would be Emily. She finds Emily so captivating. Like you said, like it's really interesting that she's so fixated on Emily. Like other people, she could take or leave. Another person who is not rising to the challenge the way Emily is not rising to the challenge would have been cut already. But she's really holding out for her.
Which, I get it. She is like incredible. I mean, rewatching her audition, I was like, wow, she is just so captivating to watch. She has it with a capital I, so I understand why she's trying to make it work.
For sure. Again, not a great thing to call a non-white woman exotic. Kelli. And this was tough. So Carly is this season a 4th-year veteran, and they're calling her in for a meeting and telling her, like, I know you've been working on your kicks a lot, but like my challenge to you is like, can you work harder? Do you have more to give? And Carly is saying that she has the same problem that a lot of DCCs have, which is that she is right on the edge of having like a tear in her hip flexor, which is a very common DCC thing, because I think specifically of those fucking jump splits that every time they show them in slow motion, I'm like, ugh! It's very impressive and very, very cool.
Yeah.
And you're watching it and you're like, you see their legs, like especially in slow motion, you see like,
I know,
their legs hit down at such an awkward spot and they wobble in such a weird way. And you're like, God, that's gotta hurt so bad.
I know. I have to say, maybe it is for their benefit that the Cowboys are such a bad football team. So their season is never as long as it could be. As like it could if they were dancing for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Or the Eagles.
Yeah. It's just, again, these are the things that make you question, like, how much do they actually care about these women? Because many DCC members, we saw it in the first season with Caroline, end up having to have surgery. Like, these are young women. These are women who are, like, around the age of 25 who have the hips of much older, much more frail people. But it's still worth it to them to do this, so...
To quote Shakira, them hips don't lie.
They don't. And poor Carly is telling them, like, it hurts to walk, stand, and sleep. She's 25 years old.
It makes me wonder, like, I wonder if we've had DCC cheerleaders we haven't heard about, like, do they have any, like, opioid addictions or things like that that they're pushing through because they're trying to push through the pain so that they can continue to perform like this? I don't know. There's just, like, a myriad of things. Like, yeah, is there a sports psychologist on, like, I don't know what the makeup of the whole, like, professional team is surrounding the girls.
There's probably a sports psychologist on staff, but she's DCC, class of 1986. She's got a blonde blowout, and she's going to tell you that, like, the best way.
God.
Exactly.
The only way out is through. The only way out is through your jump split. Now, get that hair higher to God, and we will see you on the field.
Exactly. That's who the sports psychologist is.
Oh, I just, like, tapped into something from my child.
I know. That was, I saw you transform.
Yeah.
Yeah, Klein says if one of the vets ends up getting cut, she will personally riot. And we see Carly getting acupuncture. And I don't know. It's just rough. It's just real rough. We're announcing our group leaders.
I'll say it feels like when we talk about the horses at the Kentucky Derby, and it's like they would just take these girls out if they were,
Yeah. But there's no understudies.
It's a horrible analogy. Yeah, there's no understudies.
There's no understudies.
There's no horse under Shoelace McGee. It's just... They're just going to take him out back and shoot him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Carly is spending money and time getting acupuncture. She can't sleep at night because her hips are literally disintegrating out from under her at the age of 25. But we don't have an understudy we can put on for her. Also, the best way to organize a cult is to get other members of the group to control their fellow members. So you have group leaders.
I would love for a Nexium DCC crossover. I would love to see it.
The parallels are pretty dark, honestly. But yeah, they're announcing the group leaders, and it turns out that Klein does get to be a second leader. So they are honoring Klein because she has really stepped up. They really underestimated her. Emily is talking about having imposter syndrome and like an impending sense of doom. Same. I really relate to that. And then we have this fucking pointy ass knife of a woman. Here she comes.
We gotta bring in the big guns. They can't make a decision, so you gotta bring in cutthroat, like knives. There's you do need these women obviously terrify us, but sometimes you do need a woman that just, like, has no emotion, devoid of thoughts or feelings, and can just objectively make a decision.
Yeah, I mean, just look at her. This woman has one hard-boiled egg all day. Like, she's so scary.
Her children get one hug a year.
Can you imagine you're 22 years old, you're in the middle of, like, trying to pursue your dream, you're more nervous than you've ever been, and you look over and these fucking witches are cackling. It's so scary. I get like a chill running down my spine. They both look like Madame Mim from The Sword and the Stone. And we find out that, Charlotte is not noticing Tatum at all. That's the death knell. We know Tatum's going. Emily's Charlotte's favorite kicker, but one of her least favorite dancers. And then we find out that Charlotte has a real soft spot for Faith, and it seems like it's because Charlotte is keeping her finger on the pulse of who would be a good media personality. And Faith absolutely would be an incredible media personality. She's an incredible figure for the documentary. You can just tell that this is like a star-making turn for Faith.
And she's already got hundreds of thousands of followers. Like, it inherently, and also makes the DCC international by taking them to Australia. So it allows, good day, mate. It's something good for everybody. What's good for a gander is good for the goose. Yeah.
So Amaya leaves, and it actually seems Amaya's cut seems to be the most, I don't know, she seems really self-possessed and like happy that she got to have the experience, and it doesn't seem to faze her. Turns out Amaya actually just got a spot on the Miami Dolphins cheerleading squad. So
amazing.
She's doing great. She's in Miami and is probably living it up over there.
She's taken her talents to Miami.
Exactly.
And we'll be seeing.
Well done. Well played. Well played. For those of you who came here during And Just Like That or All's Fair, that is a LeBron James quote. Thank you, Caroline. A woman who can do it all.
Well, and as we're in the thick of, we may be coming to another decision making time for LeBron any day now. Like, I just.
Tatum, oh boy, this is a tough cut because Tatum clearly believes in herself and has confidence in herself and is a tough bitch and is like, I'm confused.
Her name's Tatum.
Yeah, I know, exactly. With a name like Tatum, you're not fucking around. And she's like, she gives them a little attitude of like, well, I'm really confused by this. And also like, you're not giving me any clear information about like,
correct.
What do you want me to work on if I come back? And the truth is, there is nothing. At this point, it's like we only have spots for 6 women, so your cut is kind of arbitrary at this point. I do appreciate that she bit back a little bit, though, and was like, hey, can you give me any concrete feedback as to why you're cutting me? Because also, we've seen now 2 women in a row at this stage who are non-white who are getting cut for very nitpicky small reasons at this point because we just don't have enough space. So good on Tatum for being like, hey, do you have like an actual reason? Then we see Emily's cut, which actually goes pretty well because honestly, if I were Emily at this point, I really relate to Emily because she seems to have imposter syndrome and anxiety, even though she's incredibly talented. I don't know. There's a lot about her personality that I think a lot of people can see themselves in. And she almost seems relieved. She almost seems happy and relieved to be like, okay, I'm really stressed out. And I'm glad to be able to go home with, and they give her an overwhelming amount of praise that they do not give other people in their cuts. Obviously, we don't see everything, but they're like, Charlotte said you had the prettiest kicks. Judy's like, I'm never going to hear the end of it from Kelly if you don't come back. Also, Casey Musgraves is obsessed with you. Like, they just lay praise after praise on her.
Because essentially they say it's just because it was a style thing. She needs more time with it, and then she'll be in great shape because she's clearly talented, has the look and everything that they're looking for, but it's just like she's got to settle a little bit. She's like a sourdough starter. We got to let her cook a little bit. You got to feed it a little bit. You got to feed and then put her in the jar, put it in the fridge, bring it back out, make a loaf of bread. Yeah, and she'll be great. And I think she's in rookie camp right now.
She is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she's fine. She'll be fine. I feel like I view her as like a Charlie or a Kelly V of like, it didn't work out the first time, but it's probably going to work out this time. Let's hope. Again, I kind of relate to this of like, sometimes in the past I've auditioned for things and all I really want is the validation that like I'm good enough and I could do it.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to be in the experience anymore. You know what I mean? Like I'm stressed.
No.
I want the praise and the validation. I don't want to go to unpaid 5-hour rehearsals every night for a storefront theater show.
for Damn Yankees or anything goes.
Some experimental adaptation of a Greek myth. Like I can't.
You're at rehearsal every night with someone who's using natural deodorant and in the thick of summer. And you're all that time after work that you could be watching Love Island, but instead you're learning a 32 bar count that no one can get.
And you're rehearsing in like an old warehouse full of asbestos that we all had to chip in money to be in.
The electricity goes out halfway through rehearsal. We have to run on generators.
Yep.
Wow, I love theater.
I know. I love art.
I love art.
I love art. Art is the best. These two are going to be friends for life.
I did it.
Emo and Aussie, they're going to be friends for life. They posted a video on Instagram that they're back together in training camp. I'm happy to see that. But I'm glad that they have each other. Female friendship is so important.
I do want to know, because they stayed in a hotel, how much are they paying? I need to know. What are they paying? Because they're in the hotel for like a month during training camp. How much is that costing?
I am curious about that as well. And I've always been curious of whether or not DCC pays for that. Because in my mind, if you're asking...
Or Netflix.
Yeah. In my mind, if you're asking somebody to be a part of training camp and you're not paying them to be there...
And a TV show.
Yeah, you should foot the bill for the hotel room. Because a lot of this show, what is not talked about is in order to have, we sort of talked about this with Savannah, in order to be able to dance at this level, you either had to come from privilege or you have really managed to take raw talent and grit really far without privilege. Because to be in these dance classes your whole life, to have your parents have the income to like take you to all of these things, dance competitions, whatever. It is not the kind of thing you can get to this level to even audition without coming from an enormous amount of privilege or just finding a way through it. Work, exactly. So
yeah,
that would add another layer of privilege of like, in order to even be a contender, you have to pay for an expensive Omni hotel room. So I hope that somebody else is footing the bill for these girls, or there's like a deal, because it's the Omni Hotel is like on the DCC campus, it seems like. So
I hope they are registering with a loyalty number and y'all are getting points for every single night that you're staying there during this, so you can use that when you go to Mexico City, Cancun, Cabo.
If you learn nothing else from watching the show, get your loyalty points, folks.
Don't leave them at the door, or leave them with us, and we will use them.
We will use them. We will. We get more into Jenna's story. Jenna was born with a cleft, and and she's talking about how she's always been really self-conscious about it because she had a tooth missing. She has a scar on her lip, and this really resonated with me, where she's like, I never really talked to anybody about how like badly I felt about myself, because that's what women do, right? We fake it and we just keep going and we don't let anybody know. And God, isn't that the truth? This was just a funny moment. Faith's mother comes to visit her from Australia during training camp, and they're both, neither of these women, like, we should have really practiced in a parking lot before we got into the car. They're both screaming about the windscreen wipers. They don't know the difference between miles and kilometers. I don't either. Sorry, this country refuses to adapt.
I only can do it in, like, when I think of 5K.
Yeah.
That's my conversion. I have to think of someone running a 5K, and then I can do it.
And that's, like, roughly 3 miles.
That's 3.1, yeah.
Yes.
It's 0.62 a kilometer.
Yes. They bring the vets in to help them decide, because we're down to the wire here. And Tori makes the good point. I feel like you could have a team of 38. Me too. Why don't you have understudies? I'm going to say that till I'm DCC blue in the face.
I know.
We finally let Journey go, and Kelli says that she's one of her faves. Again, I'm not trying to make a statement that they're only releasing women of color at this stage, but I do find it odd that we are down to the wire and we're making these cuts based on minuscule stuff. Supposedly any of these women could make the team. Why are we cutting the women of color?
Because unfortunately we are in a current presidency where we are returning to a state of conservatism, and DEI is being reduced and whacked by the second. So it's when they want a team that reflects those ideals.
Yeah. It's not great. So yeah, these are our 2025 season DCCs. We've got our 6 very talented, but also very lucky rookies that have made it in. And we get this very sad, emotional shot of Emily. Emily
with her baby blanket.
I know, with her baby blanket. And then we get this harrowing moment of, everybody's sweaty and exhausted, but we are a month out to the first game and things are going to get worse.
Because they haven't been in boots yet. That was like the whole thing. They're like, you put a whole team together and they haven't even been in boots yet.
Or done the jump splits. Splits. I know, that's interesting. Okay, we've made it to episode 6, Baby, I'm a Star. And we are starting with Megan saying that game day is so difficult, which I'm sure is true. And we talk about this Baby I'm a Star routine where they're literally at like full speed from opposite ends of the field, crossing through each other at like precise intervals, and that if someone's not in the right spot at the right time, they will crash into each other and cause like a domino of blow-dried blonde hair. I just had to include this because the two of them don't know. I mean, I don't either actually what the name of Siri for the Mac computer is, but they're trying to figure out. So they're asking Siri, what is the Siri of the Mac? And then they get Andy Mack is an American Family color.
Which I only know about that show because that's a show that Olivia Rodrigo was on Disney. That's where Olivia Rodrigo came from.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. These two, like,
Again, I need 1,000 hours of this. Like, this is the show for me. I love the girls, but like, this is it. This is it for me. I don't actually need to see the girls audition. I just need to see them talking about their days, trying to FaceTime their family and nobody picking up. Like, this is home.
Oh, God. Yeah, I want to see one of them get, like, a brand new washing machine installed. Like, one that's, like, really... that sound!
I need to see them at the Verizon store. Like...
yeah, trying to exercise on a Peloton, like, trying to learn how to use a Peloton. Oh, man.
Man, a dealership? Oh, come on, them trying to buy a new car? Come on. I got lots of ideas for these two women. The simple life, but it's like the elder life, and it's them doing things like, you know.
Oh my God. It's just them ruining different retail employees' days. That's what it is.
Netflix, have I got a pitch for you?
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Then we see Charlotte Jones. We're at training camp. She's carting around the old sack of meat. That's her father, Jerry Jones, who is the owner and still general manager of the Cowboys. We don't have time to get into it, but this man is a piece of shit. Not also a good general manager of the Cowboys, because as previously stated, and we'll get into later, they're not a good team and they don't win very much.
One could say they're a more racist Roy family.
Yes. Oh my God. That is accurate. The Roy family from Succession.
Charlotte is Shiv.
Absolutely.
Jerry is Logan. And she's got two brothers. Like,
yeah. L to the OG. Yeah, no, absolutely. That is apt. That is very, very, very apt. You know, we're at training camp, and obviously the name Reece is every little girl.
Their name on everybody's lips is gonna be Reece. Oh.
The lady going to Applebee's for a triple dippers, Reece.
Reece. She's gonna pray before she eats her mozzarella sticks. And Will make her a bunch of snacks, and when he's at home on his hips. I don't know. Okay, we're not doing this. Oh God.
Yeah, $5, please. Five American dollars, please. Oh my God, we're on episode 6. Things are getting loopy.
We're close. Yeah.
Reece is, admitting in, of course, the nicest way possible that, like, sometimes she gets really frazzled being that close to the public. Yeah, I bet. And we get to see back in 2024. So she and Will, the timeline of events is they graduated from Alabama. They were planning their wedding. Reece gets on the DCC. They get married. Then after all of that happened, then they watch the Netflix documentary series, the first season, and it comes out on their 2-month anniversary from being married. And everything changed for them very, very quickly. As previewed in that song we just sang, they start getting brand deals, like going to Applebee's. They show her do a bunch of different ones, like Zysol, the allergy medicine, a number of other things. Will ends up quitting his job at the power washing place to basically effectively become Reece's, like, brand deal manager, and he says it became more of a business partnership than a marriage. Man, Will and Reece are so interesting. And I know people have been saying this since the beginning of the series, because there is, how do I put this nicely? There is a disparity in hotness.
Sure, but they both just feel so normal. And that's why I think people, like, clamored onto Reece, because she is American as apple pie. She's just a sweetheart in a way that, like, she feels untouched by the world.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so interesting watching her this season in particular, because it's like, oh, the world has touched you a little bit and you don't like it. Like, they want to have kids. They just want to have their little Christian life. And it's this weird, it's like when people it's like they won the lottery.
Yeah.
In a way. Because it is that, like, sense of, like, suddenly you have access to all of this, and how does this affect your life for better or for worse?
Yeah. Like, In the first season, she had never been to a Starbucks, and now her like Instagram DMs are probably full
She's
of
getting paid by Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly. And her Instagram DMs are probably full of the most disgusting shit you will ever see in your life.
God.
So yeah, so they've had some trials and tribulations. Reece still thinks that it's the Lord, even though she's very confused about how the Lord is using her.
So much.
I love her too.
Let her be okay.
I know. She'll be fine. She'll be fine.
I know.
Sweet Will. They're talking about wanting to eventually go back to Alabama, and he's like, I just love seeing trees. Look at all these trees. Sweet Will. As of present day, they have actually moved to Alabama. Spoiler alert. We'll get there. Klein is now doing her makeup, one of the vets who was actually in season 1 of America's Sweethearts, and they're just talking about how the Netflix of it all has really changed whether or not you can trust that people are auditioning for the right reasons, which leads into a conversation about the girls becoming influencers. And Judy and Kelli are of mixed feelings about it, but Judy says, and makes a really good point, these girls being influencers allows them to not have to go to work from 9 to 5 and then go to hours of a grueling practice. Like Kelsey in season 1, who was like the golden vet of season 1, I remember she was a pediatric nurse and she would work from like 8:30 to 5:30 or something and then go do DCC. So like Judy is making a good point of like, however you feel about this, it's giving the girls financial freedom that we're not giving them because we're not paying them enough. So we do see that like it seems like every single girl has at least some brand deals going on. And Jada actually mentions that one of her brand deals recently paid her $50K. So there's money there. And Charlotte Tilbury, if you're watching,
we will take whatever anyone is willing to offer us. I will take Lysol. I will take I you know what, I'll do a Lisa Rinna and I'll wear adult diapers. I'm not ashamed for a chock.
Oh my god. Yeah, our DMs are open. We learn a little bit more about Faith's past. Faith's mom is a single mother raising, I want to say 3 or 4 girls. Faith has 4 girls. They don't go into details, but she divorced Faith's father because he was not treating her and the family well, and Faith decided to never speak to him again. And it really kind of speaks volumes about how strong Faith is and what a sunny, positive personality she has in the face of adversity. So yeah, did you have anything you wanted to say about that?
I love how the show highlights, we're able to sort of just see more of the backstory behind them and to see that they're not just these like gorgeous, I mean they are like these gorgeous, talented women, but there's something behind each of them that's like a little bit more that makes them a full person of like what they've come through. So I'm grateful that we get a little bit of time with them to see what they've gone through to get to this point.
Yeah. So we've reached our first preseason home game. I love this. Faith is asking if she's going to know when a touchdown happens.
Valid.
Babe, you'll know. Faith gets her visa approved, so she's allowed to stay.
Okay, my favorite character on this show, other than Kelli and Judy,
Chrissy Scales.
My girl. It makes me feel like, one, I'm on the League of Their Own bus, so I feel very soothed when they're on the bus. But her telling them all the facts about whatever is happening, about you don't know you're part of history. This is the 1500th Dallas Cowboys game. This is the 4th time this guy is, fouled out of this game. It's just, I love it. No one cares anything she's talking about, but to her, this is like Bible. And I love her. Again, another character I could do an entire show about.
Yeah.
Because she knows everything about the Dallas Cowboys, backwards and forwards, and like and these girls do not care. And I love her. She kind of reminds me of Laurie Metcalf on Hacks, the tour manager / the mayor of Vegas on Hacks as well. Okay. And those are 2 tried and true, like, salt of the earth women that I love her. I love her so much.
Yeah, she's great. She'll come up in a little bit. So we're in our first Thunder performance of the season.
Woo!
And I know. And we, of course, see that there's already keyboard warriors who have seen phone recordings, and are like, how did the ponytail girl even get by? Like, already the vitriol. People who could not even try to do what these women do.
It's crazy.
Are but sitting behind their keyboards just firing off a bunch of bullshit. Again, a great example of Kelli has no... whatever AI has not translated.
Let's have a pretty butt off. Camille. The thing is, we're saying this stuff now, and this is about to be us in like 20 years.
I know,
so
it's true.
It all comes back.
I have to assume she meant Batma, which is a dance move, but who
pretty butt off is better.
The fact that she even bothers to read this aloud, like the girls are supposed to take this to heart, even though she doesn't even know what she's saying.
We've all been in these note sessions where you're like, why am I sitting here for this? Like, what is... Once I finally directed a show and I started having to read my notes, I was like, oh, now I understand the hell every director I've had previous. Because you're like, what did I write? Like, I actually don't know what this says.
No.
It's humbling.
And then we get the girls, after they've given an incredible performance, they've been up since 5 a.m, they're exhausted. Now they're reading all this hate that's being spewed about them online. I'm going to get hate for this, but she gives Mean Girl vibes. And Ava actually fires back and says, how can you say that when you're the one commenting and being mean? Again,
yeah,
the irony. Parker's reading one that says, looks like bad training / poor style match. Charlie's reading, she was only made the team because she was a sob story on TV. The God and him talk is nauseating. Some of these ladies are really dumb, aren't they? If you happen to be listening to this and you are somebody who comments this kind of shit on the internet, what's wrong with you? What the fuck's wrong with you? Like, if you don't like something on the internet, do we remember the time where if we didn't like something, we would just skip over it and move on with our lives? I don't understand.
Y'all don't remember Bambi? Did Bambi not stick with you? Did Bambi lose his mother for nothing? For you to not remember, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Still relevant. Still very, very relevant.
Bambi's mother, still dead. Anyways.
Anna Kate is getting a ton of hate, and it's like, I don't even know why, but I don't like Anna Kate, but I can't stand her. Poor Anna Kate, like, she went through it for seemingly no reason. Kelly's trying to reassure her. It's just rough. They take their group leaders out.
Oh my God.
They take their group leaders out to like a team building dinner, and this is really, really funny. Kelly hands out her favorite book, Coaching with Heart, and makes them all like answer little questions that she wrote.
And she's
up.
like, it says a thing about Taoism. Taoism? What's Taoism?
I know, and the thing is, it says it on the cover of the book. I know. I looked this up because I was like, there's Asian characters on the front of the book.
Right. And
so I looked this up. It literally says Taoism on the front of the book. And Kelly's like, huh? And I'm like, did you read it? Did you actually read it? Because, and also if you read the description of the book, it's a lot of stuff that's like being soft and using compassion. And it's a lot of stuff where I'm like, Kelly, did you buy this off of Amazon? Like, after season 1 of the show came out? Like, how long has this been your favorite book? Because I don't know that this has been your coaching methodology for longer than a year or two.
You know what? She probably listened to a Mel Robbins podcast.
Yep.
And Mel Robbins talked about it, and she said, let them come to you. And then she said, buy this Taoist book and you'll figure it all out. I had to unfollow her. I was like, this woman, I can't have her in my feed.
No, absolutely not. And then this is so funny. I really need to hear from her children about what it's like to have Kelly Finglass as a mother, because she literally turns to the girls and is like, you really need me to say the words I love you to you? Really? You need me to...
Next to the Jesus crew neck.
I know. I know, but like the fact that she's so confused of like, you really need to hear me say I love you out loud? Like, what was it like being raised in that home? Like, what is she talking about?
Okay. All right. Because here's what I had to... Because then they're... she's probably from the generation raised from the Great Depression. I'm assuming the Great Generation. Is it? Yeah. So there was probably no effect. I just think unfortunately, it's generational. I think that's just like from what you're raised from. Like, you know, you didn't have that affection.
Yeah.
Whereas now our generation is leading a lot with gentle parenting. We've just, you know, there's a lot more that we've seen.
Which I've got my own shit to say about gentle parenting. I fully believe in it. I think people don't do it correctly because I think a lot of the time the way people do it is I don't have to set any boundaries or rules for my kids and don't have to ever tell them that they've done anything wrong. And I'm just inflicting children who are born with lightning in them uncontrolled onto the world.
And I'm just trying to gentle parent myself.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just trying to get to sundown.
Listen. When I had an epiphany a couple years ago with my therapist, I was literally talking to her and I was like, I'm pretty sure I want to remain the baby of my nuclear family forever. And that's kind of the familial role I'd like to have. And she was like, it's good that you know that. And I was like, now I know I'm not having kids. This is great.
When I was like, you know, maybe the things that I'm afraid of becoming, I don't want to pass that on. And, you know, it's nice to be honest with yourself.
Clarity is good. I love this. They start making different they're going to rotate who gets...
Judy.
I know. They start to rotate who's going to be the point of the star, which is a very high honor. And the girls get very emotional about it. And she goes, oh, are we going to hug every time we... It's just so funny. It's so funny. They all are the two of them are so funny. It's like how can you be this new in the world? Like, of course, you know, the girls are going to cry when you tell them they're going to be at the point of the star. Like,
oh, they're so exhausted by them. They're like, we're just trying to get to the end of rehearsal.
I
We're making this longer.
I know. And, you know, Megan is mentioning that this season, Kelli and Judy are more cognizant of how they're feeling. Again, I think it's a combination of things, but I think the Netflix effect cannot be ignored in that regard. Again, she's presenting coaching. She's presenting coaching with heart. I don't know what. It literally says Taoist philosophy and coaching, like, on the cover of the book. And Klein says...
Taoism.
Yeah, Taoism. What's that?
Taoism.
Like, oh
what's that? Taoism.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I wonder...
Auntie Mac, what is Taoism? What is Taoism? Taibo.
Billy Blanks.
I did love his tapes. He had an ass that would not quit.
Maybe we can get someone call Billy Blanks to perform with Post Malone.
Oh yeah, halftime show Billy Blanks. Can the DCC get a workout tape? We might need to be Judy and Kelly for Halloween.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. Also,
oh my God,
Kelly. Okay, so the first time we see Kelly actually break down and have an emotion, it's because she and her husband were nursing a lizard back to health, and the lizard passed. Now, also, she says that it is her aging mother's birthday, which is also making her emotional. But the lizard did come first.
Yeah, but then she also, and as someone who has like a dead mother, I was like shocked because she says to Judy, "I'm sorry, I'm crying about this," because I was like, oh yeah, because she is a dead mother. I was like, Jesus Christ, like.
Kelly is really iconic. She is like she really is iconic. The things that come out of her mouth, you're like, you have not had enough people check you, obviously. Because they're
scared.
I know.
They're scared.
I know.
And I would never correct her.
I know. The fact that she's like, my husband and I were trying to keep this lizard alive. Also, it's my mother's birthday. Sorry, your mom's dead. Anyway, this lizard.
I need 15 minutes with Kelly and Judy. It really would do a lot for me.
I'll get you a cameo for your birthday. I'll get you a cameo.
No, I need them. I want them to like yell at me. I want her to look at me and give me a voice note criticism.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I think your hair color is beautiful, but Kelly Finglass might have a problem with it.
She probably would. And I hope you better not make me strawberry blonde, babe. I already been there, done that. We're not doing that again.
All right, so we have finally reached the first regular season game, Cowboys versus Giants, and the main thing we get out of this game is that these girls dance the entire game, even though they've been up since 4 o'clock in the goddamn morning. I can't. The fact that they were doing this for $15 an hour previously still makes me mad.
Well, it makes me think about, like, the flight attendants not getting paid for boarding.
They don't?
You know, no, this is a whole thing.
That's the worst part.
So they do not get, flight attendants do not get paid until the plane is in the air.
Oh, that's fucked up. Because boarding is objectively the worst part. And it is like going through a war. Oh, that sucks. I hate that. No, absolutely not.
So, Warriors, what we did for the DCC flight attendants, we're coming for you next. You will be paid for boarding. We are working, I think maybe United, I think one airline maybe had corrected it recently, but the rest of them, they still don't get paid for boarding.
That's fucked.
I'm sorry to have a new thing for you to be mad about, but everyone should know that the flight attendants don't get paid during boarding.
That sucks. The Cowboys end up winning in overtime, which is like great, but also these poor women who've been up since 4 a.m, and then the game goes to overtime. Of course. And
also, I think about, they cannot be wearing underwear with those shorts.
Yeah. I mean, they have tights on. That's how you know how small these women are, because they're fitting. Yeah. They're fitting tights, nude pant, like tight tights underneath these tiny short shorts, and there's no line anywhere. There isn't like a roll of anything going over. Also, like, if I had to wear tights for that many hours in a row while sweating, I would have an infection constantly. Like, that's not good. It's not good. I hope that whenever they get the chance, they're letting things breathe. You know, like they
better be getting UTI med sponsorship is all I know, and cranberry juice.
Yeah, seriously. Ocean Spray, you need to sponsor these women. But yeah, Faith, of course, is like, does that happen all the time that they add 10 minutes to the game? I love Faith not knowing anything about football. I love that
Fish out of water.
I love that the football part of Faith's brain is still smooth. I love that. Love that for her. And we end this episode with Reece on the bus contemplating whether the Lord is calling her away from the DCC, which goes right into episode 7, which is a Leap of Faith. This is the final episode of season 3. This guy is saying it's our year, and I love that.
And you know what's upsetting? More embarrassing, that's the entire dating pool.
Yes, I know. I believe it. If I had to be back in the dating pool now, I would walk into the ocean. So good on you for not. I can't even imagine. Yeah. No, Caroline, we need you. I love that the next image you see after this guy saying it's their year is definitive proof that it was not their year. Nope. As I said, Jerry Jones, bad person, even worse general manager.
I always think of it, just that scene in Bring It On when they go to the football game and they're like doing this for the football team, and then the Toros come out and they're like, wah! Like, and everyone's like, 5-time national champion, the Rancho Carne Toros.
Yes. Like, and that's exactly what it is. Like, this says Cowboys running out of playoff chances. We see, oh my God, this is right up there with like Disney adult needing to be recognized in the DSM-5. I need like certain levels of sports fandom to be recognized by the DSM-5. This man owns an unofficial Cowboys memorabilia museum, which, you know what? Fine. I love a collector. He's got some like cool memorabilia, old 7-Eleven cups, what have you. Fine. But then when he starts talking about how the Cowboys need to just get back to where they were and start winning again, he starts crying actual tears. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oh, this woman.
Yes. We meet Taya, I believe is how her name is pronounced. And she loves to get her phone out during Cowboys games. And she says, it's cathartic for me. It's kind of like TikTok's my therapy. I don't know how they found this woman, but she loves the cheerleaders. And she films them during games and she posts them on her TikTok. And she says that some of the comments are just awful, and she defends them because she's like, people say they're terrible, and it's like, we couldn't do that. Right on, Tay. You are correct.
I know. She's like, I just love beautiful things. And that's like her... It's like it's her menagerie, you know? Tennessee Williams has written her. This is Amanda.
Oh, she is a Laura. Very like, much Tennessee Williams coded, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is a picture of her son with Dak Prescott, who is the quarterback of the Cowboys. And she mentions part of the reason she really loves the cheerleaders is because her son had a heart condition and he loved to play football, but he can't because of his heart condition. And so the cheerleaders remind her and her son that, like, just because you're not on the field doesn't mean you don't matter, which is a very beautiful thing to take from watching the cheerleaders, and I appreciate that perspective. I do. Oh my God.
My favorite people in the world.
Klein's parents.
Everything makes sense. Everything makes sense about Klein.
Yes. Klein's parents are hilarious. This is the two of them doing Aikido together.
And I want to point out, she was the DCC All-Star that they chose at the Dallas World Cup match with Japan in the last week or two. And she spoke Japanese with them, like, as the DCC representative for the World Cup match.
So wait, Klein's mom is a former DCC?
No. Klein.
Yeah.
So Klein, because she, has this... They chose her to be the DCC All-Star to represent... And, in Japan is obsessed with Klein.
That's amazing.
So they, asked her to be the DCC, there for the match.
Klein can do everything. Klein plays the clarinet.
I know.
She plays the piano. She's an incredible dancer, obviously. Clearly she speaks Japanese. She's amazing. And I just love Becky and Brandon, Klein's parents. Here they are doing Aikido.
Oh, they fuck like crazy. These two are getting it on.
Yeah.
Klein had to tell them to pipe down.
You're probably right, because they're doing Aikido together. That is a healthy marriage if I ever saw one.
Yeah.
Honestly. Klein's mom, also an icon. She talks about how at the age of 56, she was just diagnosed with adult ADHD. And she also mentions that she feels like Kelli has underestimated Klein, and she's not wrong. Yeah. So I love the picture of Klein's family life, Klein's parents. They seem very wacky and goofy and loving and well-rounded. I really like them a lot.
I feel like they had a Komodo dragon at some point.
Oh, there was definitely a lizard in this home. Yes, there was absolutely a lizard in this home somewhere. An iguana, a monitor lizard, something in a large tank with a heat lamp. Absolutely, 100,000%. This woman was feeding a lizard live worms. God bless Klein's husband, who is polishing her little star patches, because that is a thing that they ask the women to do. Along with everything else, is they have to make sure that the stars that attach to their uniform are spotless and shiny. So God bless, he is taking that on. He's got a toothbrush and looks like some dish soap, and is cleaning off Klein's stars for her because she's so busy. We are heading toward the end of the season, but the busiest time of the DCC season, which is the Christmas season, because they have all of their extra Christmas and Thanksgiving programming. Okay. This is John Michael, one word, who is Tori's husband. Tori has gotten some hate online about her devotion to Jesus being kind of off-putting, which I can't say that I necessarily disagree with that take. I just wonder why Jesus wants John Michael to have that haircut.
He looks like every man in Dad Talk on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and I think it is just, unfortunately, a look that has befallen some of these, they call themselves to be the leaders of their family, and they are leading them in the path that God has led them.
And they don't want their wives to be able to vote anymore, is what I'm getting from. From what you're saying.
And then that's why it's interesting. In particular, there's a lot of discourse with this on Mormon Wives, where They didn't like that the women were making all the money on TikTok. And then all of a sudden they had to form Dad Talk because they realized how lucrative it was. So now they had to take the women's thing.
I didn't realize
And
that
they
was
were
what
now-
Dad Talk meant. I hate that.
That's Dad Talk, is they're now trying to do Mom Talk, but you will never be as good as Mom Talk.
Okay.
Oh! 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 Look at her! Look at her go!
Kelly's in her headset right in front of a...
I'm writing her biopic. I got it. Like, I love this woman so much.
I know.
She's in full power here.
I know. She's standing in front of a giant faked wrapped Christmas present. She's got a headset on. She looks powerful. And we hear someone yelp, ow. And it's Reece. And you can see the other women know how bad it is because it's Reece. Because again, Reece's reputation is, you cannot escape it. She is clearly the most favored of the DCC women. And so her going down is a big deal. She goes down during the dress rehearsal for the Christmas show. Judy ends up having to get on the horn with Claire, who is an all-star who has not done Thunder in 2 years. And Judy asks her if she can still do Thunder because it's not just the Christmas show that's at risk. Like, we've got games coming up.
This season. Also, I will say, cowboy boots, generally, like, not easy to dance in.
No.
And as someone who is, like, as my best friend Ellie, who visited recently, she's like, you are not coordinated. When I talked about riding a bike around LA, she's like, you are not coordinated, even with the helmet. Why would you do that? But you make the most capable person like Reece, like, you make one step, like, because that's a heel. You're not dancing in a tennis shoe. That is not a shoe meant to be danced in. And it's right before the big Thanksgiving halftime show, too.
Exactly.
They've not done that yet, yeah.
So Reece knows that it was an accident, but she of course feels responsible and feels like it's her fault. She's very bummed to be at home. Will very sweetly is like, I am glad that we get to spend some more time together.
And she's under one of those Lola blankets. Again, if you would love to get in our DMs Lola blankets, I've heard these blankets are like the most uncomfortable blankets in the world.
I'll bet. I will say, the thing that really struck me about Reece this season is I feel like she's biting her tongue a lot. I mean, I know she's trying to be very careful about how she comes off because that's a big problem in her mind, as soon as she doesn't want to disappoint people or come off any way that's not expected. But there are a lot of times where she will respond to something Will says with, and it's like I don't know what to sort of glean from that.
It feels like the light's been taken out from her a little bit. I think that it's like the wool's been removed from her, like, eyes a little bit, and I think that she's seen the reality of things, and what she thought was going to be her DCC experience has become something else completely.
Yeah.
And I think that's for someone whose life has, like, gone in the way that it should in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
This is now creating, like, complicated feelings I don't think she ever knew she was going to have to come up against, and she doesn't know and has never had to experience that. And I think that's really hard when maybe, you know, this bigger power you believe in maybe doesn't have an answer for that. She's not going to verbalize that's something that she's questioning, because then that's going to impress her entire belief system.
Yeah. We see Claire coming back, seeing her old friend Roger at the gate, and she mentions she hasn't done Thunder since 2023. Kelly's giving us motivating speech because the whole team's a little rattled by Reece's injury, and she's mentioning famed former Cowboy Emmitt Smith. She once asked him, like, how he stays motivated, and he said, I never knew when it was my last play. We don't have time to discuss this. It's neither here nor there. But, you know, when you're the type of football player who gets their bell rung constantly, it's a very dangerous sport. So he meant that literally, that he never knew when it was going to be his last play. And I'm sure that he has some symptoms of CTE now. I digress.
For sure. Also, this top on Kelly, she'd be a great time in Vegas. I know she throws dollar bills at a Magic Mike show. Again, Kelly Finglass, I love you.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I want to have 3 glasses of a crisp white wine with you.
Kelly comes up with hashtags before each game, and she says, my one hashtag is Reece recovery. because we're prayers up for Reece and her ankle. We get this little aside. I know. We get this little aside that the team has really surrounded Megan because Megan had an unexpected breakup with her boyfriend, who she thought, I think, was going to end up being her husband. And she mentions that Leah and Klein took shifts taking care of her, and that just really made me emotional because that's sisterhood, man. Like that's what you do. That is what you do. Here's Christy Here's your Christy Scales moment.
I love her.
She's telling everyone that the Cowboys have a 9% chance of making the playoffs. Look at her little binder of facts and figures.
God, I love her. I love her.
Does
she have a Wikipedia page? I need to know.
Don't know.
She deserves respect.
I do know that this woman has a whole closet of different Cowboys garb. I can tell you that much because I don't think she wears anything that doesn't have the Cowboys logo on it.
Okay, I want you to know, her Instagram handle's @ChristyCowboy, and her whole bio is Dallas Cowboys side. I'm following her from the And Just Like Yap Instagram. And
Wonderful.
She only has 1,200 followers.
Reece is, while the girls are, I don't know, rehearsing on the field, whatever, for this big Post Malone Thanksgiving show, she is doing physical therapy and is very, very nervous. I mean, once you have like an injury like this and it's your first time, like it does make you nervous to like try to put weight on it again. So I get it. Post Malone is performing. The girls are dancing. Post Malone's wearing cowboy boots. It's a moment. The Cowboys end up winning this game, and Christy is back on the bus telling everybody that their chances of making the playoffs have gone all the way up from 9% to 15%. Hallelujah. Faith is mentioning that it's been terrifying moving to the other side of the world. She has her mom and some of her friends come visit her, and they can't get DoorDash on Thanksgiving because everything is closed. And they're
Can you get Shake Shack? Oh, no, wait, no, that's British. Hold on, I'm trying to. How do you say Shake Shack in Australia? And they talk about that.
Shake Shack. Shake Shack.
Shake Shack.
Shake Shack. Shake Shack. They have these like little like, I don't know, convenience store pumpkin pies, and they don't have whipped cream, and so they put cream cheese on them, and obviously it ends up being disgusting because you shouldn't put cream cheese on a pumpkin pie. Oh my God.
I hope they've had a real pumpkin pie since this.
I hope so too.
I love a pumpkin pie. I love a sweet potato pie.
Reece comes back, but she's in the Christmas show in a limited role, but it seems like she ends up recovering from this ankle injury in like a couple weeks, which is crazy. I'm sure she got it done as quickly as she possibly could. And we see Reece is questioning, like, you know, who am I now at this part of my life?
Yeah.
Like, what else is there for me? And the Cowboys are eliminated from playoff contention, as we knew would happen ultimately.
Yeah.
And so the girls get a very sort of anticlimactic, unceremonious final game to end their season because it's a game that, like, doesn't even really matter. Klein is saying to Kelli, "You're going to miss me so much." And Kelly's like, "I will miss you. Like, I'm not kidding." They've just, you know, they've had such an interesting dynamic and interesting relationship all of this time. And like, I'm sure Klein's presence will be missed because she really is one of a kind. Kelli tells everyone that in her sparkly sweater that tonight's hashtag is #legacy. And that's that for that game. And we're at 3 months later with uniform turn-ins. And this was an interesting little piece of drama. Faith went back to Australia and started doing Australian interviews about being a DCC without getting them cleared through Kelli and Judy, which is a big, big, big no-no. And Kelli goes as far as to, and she's not fucking around, she's holding that styrofoam cup, and she's like, "If we were auditioning tomorrow, Faith gets my no vote. You have to earn my trust back." Which seems pretty harsh, but also like, Faith, come on. Come on! How would you not know that they weren't gonna let you just do whatever? Even though you're in Australia, like, they're gonna find out about it. Like, you're a DCC now. You've got Big Brother watching over you.
Like, you're a part of, before, I know you're used to being your own brand, but you're now a piece of something that's way bigger than Flexi Faith. So, Flexi Faith has got to be a part of the team. So,
Yeah.
I can't do it. But yeah.
Flexi Faith.
Yeah, it's really, it just tells you at the end of the day, they may love you, but as quickly as they love you, they'll turn on you.
Yep.
You gotta fall in line.
Klein has an emotional turn in while at sea because she's on her first ever vacation with her husband. And I think they got married in like 2022 or 2023. It's just like DCC is so rigorous that they haven't had a chance to actually like be together as a couple. So she even thought about doing a 6th year though, which is kind of like unheard of, but she decides not to. But as we know, she's already an all-star and we're seeing a lot of her still in the DCC world anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the gift of this Netflix show is that it's letting these girls who have been a part of the show like remain with DCC in a way they haven't been able to before. The producers asked Kelli, like, do you think that some of the reason why you butt heads with Klein is because you're similar? And we see old footage of Kelli as a DCC, and she's like, yeah, I also had a big personality, a lot of showmanship. So it does make sense. And actually, for the first time, we see Kelli admit that she was wrong. Like, she talks about Klein's uniform turn-in last year and says that she didn't feel like her timing was good and that she went too hard on her in that moment, which is like, I don't know, a rare moment of humility and admission of wrongdoing.
Reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah, in front of her Inspire corkboard.
Yeah. In her corporate leopard print shirt. God. Yeah, I do love this woman.
I'd love to freak it in a Chico's with her.
Freaking in a Chico. I can't. Reece has a very emotional turn-in. This surprised me because when I watched season 1, I assumed that Reece was going to be 5-year vet. But as we said, like, Reece is currently in Alabama with Will. They have left. They are moving on with their lives. She's very emotional. She prays in the car beforehand, but she says it's time for her to move on to a new chapter. And Judy mentions that she's had a lot of doors open for her recently. I'm not sure what all of them are, but one of them I believe is she's been asked to write a book.
I can already see the font in my head. It's like the font that every Bachelor book or it's the weird, it's like the swoopy font.
Yeah.
And it's gonna say, Reese's Pieces of Faith.
That's horrible and probably right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it will be something. God will be involved somehow. God is the editor is God.
Isn't he to all of us?
Yeah, so she's moving on with her life. The Lord has called her to do something else, which is a huge loss for the organization, honestly, because she is so popular. But again, we're already seeing her pop up as a vet doing appearances, which I'm sure she will continue to do for a while.
And they sort of mentioned like her, like she's married. She has so many of these things that are like already, like I think a lot of these other girls don't have quite yet before their 5th year.
Yeah.
She wants to have kids. Like there's just stuff like that I think, obviously the way that the DCC lifestyle is, there's no way you can be pregnant and be in another world, there is this SNL sketch of when Amy Poehler was super pregnant and did the like sexy part. I would love to see Amy Poehler in the pregnant belly as a DCC cheerleader.
That would be very funny. I mean, I also think the injury sort of scared Reece too. Like,
yeah.
She was already on the fence about it, and I think the injury really scared her. Inspired music choice to end this season. I know, with Cowboy Take Me Away. Inspired. Like, it feels too on the nose, but it's not. It's perfect because we have Reece. We have a lot of these women like moving on with their lives. We have these beautiful shots of them dancing together. Parker says something really poignant, which is there's so much value in seeing women unified as we see them all like laughing together on the field. Reece is saying, the thing I'm going to miss the most is rehearsals with everyone. Like women, female friendships, female support. Even if it's in a position where... Sister support. Even if it's in a position where you guys are all bonded because Kelly Finglass is yelling at you within an inch of your life, I don't care. Like, it's beautiful no matter what. We see that Klein is trying to figure out, like, what's next for her as well. And we end with this shot of Reece saying that she's ready to take the leap. And that is the end of season 3 of America's Sweethearts, the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders. Overall thoughts, Caroline?
I mean, I think tonally this season is very interesting. I think in a way because it's more so about the outside than the actual season itself. I think this one is like it feels so different than 1 and 2. It sort of like points a bigger thing I think that we feel about like what social media has to say about us and how we let it affect ourselves and our view of ourselves and how we choose to dictate like what we let the world in on. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see as we see like this season, unravel in a year, like what that's going to look like because it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah.
And the influence is only going to get larger. So like, what does that mean for the organization? What does that mean for the vets? What does that mean for the girls coming in? But God, again, I'm just asking to freak it in a Chico's with Kelli Finglass before, and maybe a Michaels after, maybe a Nordstrom Rack. Oh, a Nordstrom Rack. I'd love to try some slacks with her in a Nordstrom Rack. I got a day for us, Kelli, and Judy, for both of you. I would love it. So I'm just happy to see
There were not a lot of like super dramatic moments in this season, but there were a lot of like little things that really, really had a great effect. And I'm happy to see like the culture of the organization does seem to be changing. I think, you can't discount the fact that it's mainly because there are more eyes on it, more judgmental, scrutinizing eyes on it. But if the outcome is that these incredibly talented women who are at a fragile point in their lives, if it means that they are treated with more respect, then like I don't care how it happens. But yeah.
Amen.
Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed
yeah. How do they do it?
This. Yeah, this is our ending of Thunderstruck moment. Thank you for watching and listening. Let us know if you enjoyed us doing a whole season as one large episode, and maybe we'll do some more of those. This has been a wild ride. If you enjoy hanging out with us, you can find us on TikTok. You can find us on Instagram. We have lots of other stuff on our channel for you to watch and listen. Please leave your feedback in the comments and yap with us. We love that. And we will see you next time. Go the Cowboys.
Go the Cowboys. Kelli!